Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
Hey guys, what is up? It is Dan, and I am joined here by Rob on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. It's WrestleMania, baby!
Yeah. Are you excited as your voice is saying? Because there's been some mismatched comments, one in a group chat and on Twitter. So are you excited or?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's always WrestleMania season. It's always a happy time. Not only because it is coming to the end of our predictions, so it's like the business end of things, but also obviously the fact that most of the WWE stories and that will be wrapping up, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some new beginnings come tomorrow night on Raw. Well, Monday night on Raw.
Monday night, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a comment straight off the bat here from Jimmy Monster. Hey guys, I'm guessing that's how you're doing today. We are doing very well, thanks. Thanks for your comment, mate. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy the show. Obviously, as you can see, there is only me and Rob here at the moment. Scott is currently over in the States, so he's running on a different time zone to us.
Yeah.
And Lucas is going to be joining slightly later. Scott should also be joining later as well. So for now, you are going to get me and Rob. We're going to, first, obviously, we didn't do a prediction show for this, so it's going to...
Yeah.
Well, so, so we're going to briefly do our predictions on night one of WrestleMania, and then we're going to touch a little bit on what we think is going to go down. Potentially, we may get into a bit of night two. We'll see how we do for time. So, should we kick things off then with the first match that we've got lined up here, and it is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. So we're going to be basically bookending this with the women's title matches. So we're going to go first with the Raw women's title match. I don't have the dice to hand. There's only two of us, so should we just take it in turns, do like one each or something? So
yeah, might as well. Yeah.
You go first. So for me, for this one, Becky or Bianca, it's tough really because I can see this one going either way. I can see it being like Bianca's kind of coronation again because she had that last year, I think, with Sasha. Obviously, then Becky defeating her at SummerSlam in 28 seconds, something like that, something ridiculously short to end that title reign. And so, yeah, I think. See, the thing is, I don't really want Becky's title reign to end just yet, but I do think it could well end prematurely. So that being said, I'm probably gonna lock in my pick to be Becky to retain. I think a bit tricky. So yeah, Becky to retain for me.
Yeah, do you know what? When you said how long like the Becky had won it, like she's been a champion since, when you said SummerSlam, it really feels so much longer. Like I just feel like she's been champion for like forever. And it's weird. Obviously, I know she was out for the 9 months she was pregnant, and then let's say like the 9 months of her being pregnant and then becoming a mother and all that sort of stuff after giving birth and that. But it just feels like she hasn't gone. Yeah, is that how long it's been? Bloody hell!
They said 16 months in total that she was gone from WWE, but then she is saying technically her title reign, she was never beaten for that championship.
Yeah.
So going all the way back to, there we go. Look, WrestleMania 35 when I was there. So technically, she was champion all the way through WrestleMania 36, 37, 30, 30, yeah. And now going into WrestleMania 38. So,
yeah, it really does feel like she just hasn't left, if you know what I mean. Like she's had such a nice run, and the way she's done everything and come full circle, kind of not losing the title, but giving up, relinquishing it, and winning it again. Unfairly to Bianca, in my opinion. The 28 seconds did do a bit dirty, but we move. But I don't know. I agree with you. A part of me doesn't want Becky to her reign to end yet, but I feel like for it to come full circle and Bianca to get her crowning moment again, it makes sense to do it at Mania. Like it wouldn't make sense to do it on Raw, or SmackDown, or that sort of thing, like on a TV taping. So as much as I hate to say that Becky's going to lose, and I think Bianca's going to be crowned champion.
So Bianca Belair, so the first split that we've got. I mean, let's not forget as well that we do have the little thing of the Rebellious Noise predictions here. Obviously, you and me sitting at the top on 48 points. Scott and Lucas trailing just behind on 45. So it's very, very close. And the fact that we are split straight off the bat is tricky. We do actually have a guest here all the way from the US of A. Let's hope that he's not developed too much of an American accent.
What's going on?
If you can hear me, I can barely hear you. Wait, now there's a helicopter. Hold on.
Look at that view, man. Can we just do a segment of sightseeing with Scott? Can we do that?
Let's do. All right, let's full screen in 1 sec. There we go.
Look at him. Look at the beauty and Scott.
There we go. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to be back in a bit, guys. I'll join you properly soon. But I just want to pop in and say hello. Great show. Keep up the good work. And we'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, mate.
All right, see you guys later. Keep getting everyone excited for WrestleMania.
See you later, mate.
Woo, I can't wait.
We will. Cheers, mate. See you later.
He's ripping out Christina Aguilera hat again.
Yeah, he's going to get some stick for that. Comment section, please be kind to him. At least one of us on here will get to actually watch WrestleMania at a decent hour as well.
Yeah. Right. Do you think it's going to be weird for him? I don't want to segue too much, but obviously when you're in America, you get to watch it, as you said, like a reasonable hour. Obviously over here in the UK, we get like 1 too early, like 1 or 2 in the morning, and it's like that really late viewing. So do you think his body clock's going to be used to watching it at a nice time and then carry on about his day? Or do you think he's going to still...
No, it'd be good. I mean, to be fair, I remember when we went to 35, it was just one of them where I think the show started at 5 p.m. Like the Andre Battle Royal, I think, was the kickoff show. It started at 5 o'clock. It was still light out when we went. It was just so strange being there. And then obviously the show, I think, finished. It overran. It went on till like 1 in the morning. So that shows you how long that show was.
That's a long time, man.
And it's like, I think the best thing they did was making it 2 nights. Especially if they're going to put that many matches on.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago during the, I guess, the COVID times. It feels so long ago since that we've been doing this podcast now. But yeah, like we were moaning that it was going to be over 2 nights and we didn't like it. And now we're like, we're so happy it's 2 nights because we get a little a gap in between. It's crazy how it's changed. That the tides have changed. It's nice. It
just shows as well that they've got so much talent at their disposal that the biggest show of the year they can put like I think they've got about 14 matches announced, and you try and fit that into like you want to give matches time at WrestleMania. You don't want matches going like 4 or 5 minutes just to get everyone on. So I think that's probably the best way to do it is over the 2 nights. If they can stick to 2 nights at like 3 hours each, it's more palatable for everyone, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's move on. So I went first last time, so you can go first on this one, and we are gonna go with the Mysterios, Ray and Dominik, taking on the team of the Miz and Logan Paul.
Oh man, again, I don't know what, it's weird. I don't want to say this is a hard one, but I really don't know who to pick, because I feel like this could be the moment where the Ray versus Dominik thing starts, like father versus son, which would be interesting to see. Maybe it does happen. Maybe there is a turn, or someone turns heel. I mean, if that happens, I think I would like to, I don't know. I think I'd like to see Dominik be the face and Ray turn, if that's what happens, and if they lose the match. But yeah, I'm really unsure. I mean, the idea of bringing Logan Paul in again, is at first I was like, I didn't like it, but it's been growing on me. Do you still catch up regularly with the TV viewing to see what's going on with Raw and SmackDown, or?
Yeah, try where I can. Yeah, mostly in the mornings and that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
like 3 hours of Raw is not very palatable.
It's not.
So yeah, watch it on fast forward a lot of the time, and watch what I need to watch.
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, no, it's what we've seen with Logan and that. I'm actually intrigued. And I wouldn't say he's a great athlete, but he does have an amateur wrestling background. Obviously he's done the boxing and stuff, so he's quite an athletic guy. So I think he might be really good in the ring. I think he could be one of these guys that a celebrity, I guess, could have a really good performance. So, we've had Bad Bunny, so let's hope that continues and does well. And Logan does do well in a match. But I think because I'm singing his praises, I'm going to give the Miz and Logan Paul the win. And I think there's going to be a father-son breakup.
You reckon they're going to break up as well?
Maybe. I mean, if they win, where do they go? They've already been tag champs. They get lost in the shuffle, and I don't want to see either of them get lost in the shuffle. So I think if they're going to do that, at least that way, if they do lose and then they have this feud between father and son, there's something for both of them. And then, if Ray wants to ride off into the sunset after, then, he's done his dues and Dominik's ready.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and he's not had a bad mentor to have him mentoring him pretty much his entire life. So,
well, exactly, yeah.
the great Rey Mysterio. So, yeah, for me, I think now thinking of it with my kind of sensible hat on for a minute, it's like, okay, celebrities generally do quite well at WrestleMania. It's like they very rarely will bring a celebrity in just to lose at WrestleMania. And there's been obviously a few exceptions.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think the Miz and Logan Paul will go over in this. As much as I want the Mysterios to, I feel as though it is going to be the Miz and Logan Paul. So that's what I'm going to lock in, Miz and Logan.
Yeah. I think it just makes sense. As you said, like sensible brain, bringing in. I guess Logan is loved and hated, I guess, but he's growing on me. I think as he's getting older, he's getting more mature. He's becoming more of I wouldn't say a businessman, but kind of is involved in more business. He's being sensible. He does his podcast and that. He's not that stupid guy that we see 4 or 5 years ago, on YouTube. Yeah, he's matured. Odds on that he comes out with his prime drink. That him and KSI collaborated on. So guarantee he's got to come out drinking something like that. There'll be a promo for that, surely.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know obviously what sponsorship stuff is like with WWE, because obviously they're going to be promoting someone else's beers, I guess, later on in the show.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll briefly touch on that now. Obviously, a man that Logan Paul ate a stunner from at last year's WrestleMania, in fact, Kevin Owens. I'm guessing we are going to see at least one stunner in that showdown at the end of the night. So, but I've deliberately left it to the end because apparently it is going to be the main event segment. So when we do get to that point, then we can speak about that a little bit more. But yeah, obviously Logan Paul history with WrestleMania and with Kevin Owens as well.
Yeah.
So let's quickly move on then to the next match, which is Drew McIntyre taking on Happy Corbin. It's me going first this time. Obviously with the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Madcap Moss, in the corner of Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, also a former Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Yeah, this is for me pretty straightforward. I think Drew's going over. I just feel as though so when I think back, obviously the last, what people would say the last proper WrestleMania 35, you had Drew versus Roman at that WrestleMania, and Corbin retired Kurt Angle there. Now you look at Drew's WrestleMania since then. So he had 36 in front of no one, won WWE title. 37 opened WrestleMania, lost the WWE title, and now he's facing Happy Corbin. It seems like it's been that upward trajectory in 2020, and then he's just like gone, you know, despite carrying WWE pretty much through the Thunderdome era on the men's side of things. Obviously, Bayley and Sasha and that did a fantastic job on the women's side of things.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
You know, kudos obviously to Drew for not only carrying the flag for Great Britain, carrying the flag for Scotland as well, and just basically carrying WWE. And now they're thinking, oh, what can we do for Drew at this WrestleMania? Oh no, we'll just give him Happy Corbin. Now that's no slight on Happy Corbin, because you know Corbin's great. But I just feel as though, you know, WrestleMania matches, you could have thought up something a little bit better for Drew, like all due respect, obviously, to Corbin. But I think for me, I think this is fairly straightforward. Drew McIntyre going over in this one.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's gonna be Drew, but isn't it weird how someone that when they have their WrestleMania match and it's against Corbin, you kind of feel like Corbin isn't going to win, and that's not throwing shade at Corbin. He's a fantastic wrestler. You know, any gimmick that he's been given, he's knocked it out of the park. There's been some that we haven't enjoyed as much. Going from the Lone Wolf up to where he is now, there's been so many changes. My favorite version of him so far has been King Corbin. Obviously now that's now long gone, but I just feel like a lot of people will go, oh, well, Corbin's losing. And I think that's, weirdly, it's unfair, because he puts on a good show, especially at Mania, everyone does. But it's very weird how the minute it comes to someone going against Corbin, you kind of feel like Corbin isn't winning. And we've both said, we're going to have Drew have the win. It's just, I just find it very strange. I don't know. I mean, a part of me, obviously, I really want Drew to win. But a part of me wants Corbin to win and Madcap to be involved somehow. There's going to be some, tomfoolery or something happen. There's two of them. So, I don't know. Yeah, some shenanigans.
But I think it could be like turning on and for him to have that as like a forward perhaps, but I mean, I think you say probably one of the most workers does get affected other times. So.
Yeah, hang on, you're cutting out a bit, mate. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were a bit jittery then. Never you were talking. You were sounding a bit.
Yeah, he's a bit. I think he's a bit. He's kind of really underrated in the ring. I think he's got two of his finishers, but they're really, really protected. I don't think anyone's kicked out of at the end of days.
Yeah.
So that could be something maybe that we see Drew be the first man to kick out of end of days, possibly. And obviously the deep six is just, he's got like two of the most amazing finishing moves, Corbin.
They are beautiful moves.
But we are literally still sitting here saying Drew McIntyre is pretty much going.
I know, it is strange. It's one of those things where like you can get behind Corbin being the heel. It's weird to see him. If you could get behind him as a face, then I think that would be really good, because you could really like project him forward. But it just wouldn't feel right. You know, it was like when Kurt Angle was heel and then went face. It just didn't feel right him being a face again because he's better as a heel. Some people are just better suited in that role. KO, like Kevin Owens, is another one. But yeah, I don't know. I really want that Corbin to win. I just can't see it happening because of the way this thing's been built with Drew. But yeah, so my pick is definitely Drew. But I'm interested. This is going to be a match that I'm really weirdly excited for because I'm going to be unsure. I'm not sure how the match is going to turn out.
Yeah, I think, and then obviously leading into that, it leads me into the next match, which one that you're going to have a vested interest in because it's your boys, the Usos, taking on the team of Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Sorry to all of our audio listeners there. But yeah, if you got headphones, I suggest you take them off at that moment. But yeah, Rick Boogs and Nakamura going up against the Usos, the longest reigning SmackDown champions in history.
Boy.
Just shows how much them belts have been flip-flopped around, considering no one's held the belts for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you get the honor of going first for your boys.
Oh, you know, I'm going Usos. I think everyone now on this stream, but at this moment, will go, okay, Rob's picking Usos. I just can't see Nakamura and Boogs winning. I feel bad because I mean Nakamura. It's weird to think that Nakamura is in a tag team match at WrestleMania. I mean that blows my mind at the best of times. You know, knowing where he's at, being partnered with Boogs, I don't like it. For me, it's not. I just don't enjoy it. Boogs is a good character, but he does annoy me a fair amount, to be fair. So props for Nakamura dealing with him on a daily basis. I hope he ain't like that every day because you can be happy, but that's far too happy. But yeah, I mean, the Usos are going to win. They will be victorious. But
yeah,
I think there'll be a cheat to win. They're going to do something to cheat to win. They ain't going to win clean.
Yes, for me it is tricky. It's a really, really, really tricky one to pick. So as much as I feel like it's the Usos, they do love a title change or tag title changes at WrestleMania. So you think like, and they love like ending streaks at WrestleMania, as we saw obviously. Going back again to 35, Kurt Hawkins, his losing streak ended when him and Zack Ryder defeated, I want to say the Revival.
Possibly.
I think it was the Revival.
Someone in the comments should know. Comment, you should know. One of you will know. But yeah,
let us know. Let us know. But yeah, so that's what makes me think it could go the other way actually, and we could see new tag team champions. Despite, you got to think as well, the Usos have the record, so it's like, what more can they do? And I think as well, if they lose the titles, then there's going to be more emphasis on Roman winning on night 2, because then he will be the one that's then holding up the family again, so they can play into a bit more of the dissension and being like, oh well, you know, I was the only one that could get the job done at Mania, you guys let us down again, and then go to that, and then they have to go and prove themselves all over again.
Yeah,
you know, if Roman's going to be the unified champion, then it could mean that the Usos then will go over to Raw with him potentially. If he can fight on both shows, Usos could then go to Raw, maybe win the Raw tag titles. Who knows? You know, they could even throw them in on night 2, like into the triple threat, and make that a 4-way for all we know.
Yeah, it's a good shot actually.
So yeah, for me, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going with Boogs and Nakamura for that one, I think.
Do you think it'll be a clean victory, or do you think Boogs and Nakamura will do some little shenanigans to win?
I think no, they're going in, I think, as the baby faces, so I think they'll be clean as a whistle, sent in the ring. So
Out of curiosity, Nakamura's getting a pinfall. Do you think Nakamura will get the pinfall, or do you think Boogs will get the that moment at Mania?
I mean, I don't really think Nakamura's had a WrestleMania moment yet, has he? Properly. So
no, really, no.
I think it's about time. Like, it's such a good worker. I think it's about time you gave Nakamura a little something at Mania, guys. So give Shinsuke his WrestleMania moment.
That's right.
Shinsuke to get the pinfall as well. I'm not bonus pointing that.
No.
So.
I just out of curiosity, I always feel like if there's a tag team, one of them is obviously going to get the pinfall. Like, I just, it's interesting to know who you think it will be.
Yeah, I think it will be Nakamura. So talking of speculation, there's been a lot of speculation over who is going to be the vacant opponent for Seth Rollins. Obviously, vacant ending Seth Rollins' WWE title run a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
Now Seth Rollins is facing vacant again at WrestleMania. I joke.
Hang on.
So
go on.
Basically, the big question I think is, who is it going to be for a start? And then, do we feel as though it's going to be the vacant person to win the championship? Come on, Dan. Do we think it's going to be the vacant person who is going to be victorious over Rollins, or do we think Seth is going over?
Well, I have a theory of who it can be. Would you like me to share?
Not an Austin theory, no.
It's not an Austin theory, no. I hope not. But yeah, would you like me to share? All right, so
go for it. I mean, I've got about 3 or 4 different names going through my head of who it could be. So
okay, right. So obviously that they are in America. This person is there. Obviously, it's tonight. For some reason, they are not on this stream, and there's only one man that I feel could ever outbid him on suits. It's got to be this guy, right? He's got to be the guy to do it.
Oh. So you reckon it's going to be Scott versus Seth in a drip-off?
Why is Scott in America for any other reason? Surely, I mean,
well, he's actually in New York. I don't know how far it is from New York to Dallas. And he was actually talking to us about going to WrestleMania, like trying to get to go to WrestleMania. So a bit like Seth was trying with Vince to get to WrestleMania.
See, the stars are aligning. I think it could be Scott. It seems likely.
Yeah, I doubt it. Although I would love to see it.
I would, yeah. I think there's only one name on the tip of everyone's tongue, and that's Cody, isn't it?
Well, see, the thing is, so obviously everyone is suspecting that it's going to be Cody Rhodes, but there was a article that came out from Dave Meltzer to say that apparently people close to Cody have said that he is potentially going to back out of the match at Mania.
Oh,
so
wow.
They could potentially have his return on Raw. So then if that's the case, then I think it narrows the field down to potentially a few people, because you got to think, so Shane McMahon was the original scheduled opponent for Seth Rollins at Mania, but then obviously had all the stuff at the Royal Rumble, and we know that he's in Dallas for Hall of Fame and will be there for WrestleMania. So potentially that, or the other rumor there was that they could do that as a red herring, have like Vince come out and announce, oh, it's going to be someone who's from like a great wrestling family, blah, blah, blah. Shane O'Mac comes out and is like, no, not you, you goose. Sod off, basically, and bring out Cody Rhodes. By the way, East London's finest constabulary going past. So, yes, you can hear that in the background. But yeah, I think it's really tricky because you've got obviously Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, I think could well be, I think Cody is the most likely opponent, but then you got to think obviously Shane is not out of the realms of possibility. Then after what he said last night as well at Hall of Fame, when Undertaker said never say never, you could literally get Taker just to come out. He said he might have one more left in him. It's like, could he literally come out bell rings, Tombstone 1, 2, 3 on Seth. Potentially, that's another option. Bron Breakker, another name that's been banded around. Potentially, there's been a few rumors that's a match that's been mooted, that he could face Seth. I think obviously he's obviously quite highly thought of in the NXT circles. And then obviously there is the one that people I think are just like, oh, please don't let it be him, and that's Goldberg is the only other option. I mean, to be fair, if we do look at that image again, it does have the same haircut as Goldberg.
It does, yeah.
It's the same kind of the same dome that Goldberg does normally sport throughout his wrestling career. But no, I think if I'm using my sensible hat, I would say it is most likely going to be Cody Rhodes. And I think if it is Cody Rhodes, then, or whoever it is, I actually reckon, barring Goldberg and Shane, I think if it is Cody, if it's Breakker, if it's Taker, then I think they're going over Seth. So I think Seth's here to take the L in this match, regardless of who the opponent is.
Yeah. Speaking of, I know there's quite a few people. I do agree with a few of them. It'll be great to see any of those that you said, other than Goldberg, in my opinion. But if you said, as you said,
there's no Saudi money.
No, it's as you said, Taker, right? As you said last night, you said you might have one more in him and stuff. Well, I mean, technically, one more. What is that? Chokeslam, Tombstone, Last Ride, whatever. We don't know. I mean, now it's one of those things. If Taker comes out, he does his shtick and then goes, we go home happy. We're not expecting much now. Do you know what I mean? In the nicest way. And if Seth is there, Taker comes out, Tombstones him, goes, I'm happy with that. And I think if a lot of people do start complaining on you're gonna get the complaints on Twitter, but hey, Cena sat out at ringside, went backstage, come back and lost. Do you know? So if it's good in a weird way, if it's good enough for Cena, and Cena's a veteran and one of the most known guys in wrestling history, and if he's willing to take an L from Taker at WrestleMania, then Seth should be no different. It's that by example. So if it is Taker and Seth takes the L, don't moan, because it doesn't make a difference. If Cena can do it, so can Seth.
Yeah, I think that's another name, obviously, John Cena as well, that it could potentially be. And the possibilities are endless. I think if we're looking at it from a sensible point of view, I think the most likely one is Cody.
Yep.
But yeah, it'd be any of the names I've mentioned, though. I think barring Goldberg would be, I think, decent. Oh, Shane, yeah, maybe it'd probably be too sweaty the time he gets down there, but I've ever seen a guy sweat so much. But yeah, just literally
maybe. I see it.
Go on, sorry.
So yeah, I see a few people ask. Because all of a sudden, Wyndham, as he's now on Twitter, obviously previously known as Bray Wyatt, for those who are not in the know. But yeah, he tweeted about Taker. And obviously his name's been circulating because he still isn't signed to AEW or anywhere else. So his name also is being thrown in a hat. I mean, I'd pop hugely if it was the Fiend or Bray coming out. That'd be crazy. I'd like to see something like that. But yeah, I really don't know. I think what's nice is we actually don't know. And as much as the dirt sheets are running wild, as Hogan would say, there isn't a definitive answer, and we actually don't know, which I think is great, because when was the last time we was like, oh, someone's coming back, is a vacant, oh, we know who it is. We don't get that all the time. So I'm really enjoying the fact that we don't know who it is.
And I think as well that the good thing is that it's not one of these where you're hearing all like rumors of like, oh, this person's been spotted in the area. It's like, those were like the good old days kind of thing, where it's like before all this like wrestling Twitter and social media, everyone having a smartphone and it being like, oh, this person's been spotted at the local airport. It's like, yeah, thanks for that. You spot a surprise now.
Yeah.
But I think the last kind of I think, the last time obviously WWE did a big surprise like this was WrestleMania 33 with the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think it would be something, I guess, like that, because I think as well, because the Hardy Boys had competed in a ladder match the night before, no one was kind of expecting them to be there. Like, there was obviously rumors throughout the day and stuff, but I think like with something like a Royal Rumble, it makes more like it's a bit more tricky, because, and I know they've had people fly into different cities just to avoid being spotted, but I think most of the WWE talent are going to be in the Dallas area anyway, because of like Hall of Fame, WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, NXT Stand and Deliver. So they're all going to be in the area anyway. So it's a case of, okay, who do you want to go into that spot? But yeah, and then just quickly as well, touching back on The Undertaker. Oh my days. What a Hall of Fame speech. Have you seen it? If you've seen it, yeah.
I have. Did you get teary? Be honest. We're all men here.
There were a few onions being chopped. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I felt that.
It was amazing that between his entrance and him actually starting his speech was probably around 10, 11 minutes. And if anybody deserved that adoration from the crowd and just soaking all that up, it was The Undertaker. And I'm just glad that they've waited until crowds are back to be able to induct him. You know, and you know what? He's looking his age now. And when he said that never say never, I'm like, oh, that's really spoiled a great Hall of Fame speech. You know, I don't want to see him come back unless he can go 100% like The Undertaker we know. It's like, just go and be with Michelle and those kids and just
be happy,
enjoy your life. And just, you know what? The way he spoke, every single word that he spoke at that Hall of Fame speech, you could tell came from his heart and came from a place of love for a business. And a love for Vince as well. And you know what? There's never going to be another one of The Undertaker in our lifetime to show that kind of loyalty to a company. You know, 30 years, like, he spanned generations. Like, you know, I'm 33 and, you know, I was 3 when The Undertaker debuted. And it's like, he's been consistent throughout those 3 decades as well. Like, I was fortunate enough to see him live at WrestleMania 23 when he faced Batista, and that was just an incredible match. Obviously didn't get to see him at 35 because he wasn't there, and we've seen that obviously on the Last Ride documentary. But then the Raw after WrestleMania, it was just one of those things where Elias was playing guitar in the ring, and I literally looked at the stage and I saw it start filling up with smoke, and I literally just nudged my partner. I'm like, Taker's coming out. Taker's coming out. Oh my god, it's The Undertaker. And it's like you feel like you mark out all over again the minute you see that smoke, hear that gong, the lights go out, and you're like, oh my days, it's The Undertaker. And he just has that aura about him.
So I once go on.
No, as I say, there's literally never going to be another Undertaker.
I agree. There was, speaking of when you said like his entrance, so I got a chance to, it was a SmackDown in the UK, and it was when Undertaker went against Dean Ambrose, when the Shield were still the first time they were together. And I think Kane and Daniel Bryan come out to help at the end, I think after the cameras went off and whatnot, and it was like the dark match before they went home.
Like Team Hell No,
yeah. I'm sure it was that. But it was weird, like, just seeing an Undertaker entrance. You know, that was the first time I'd seen his entrance live, and man, you get goosebumps just talking about it. It's weird. I said to Scott, I think maybe before the podcast, and when it was on the original Red Noise channel, but for some reason, I don't know if they turned the temperature down in the arena or like put the aircon on so it's nice. It's really cold, but you just get this really cold feeling. And then he comes out, and then you get then you get goosebumps, and then all of a sudden your temperature just rises because everyone just goes nuts. It's the weirdest thing.
Fire as well, because it has when his entrance has the fire as well. It warms everything up, and it's just. I mean, it's weird because you watch the entrance on TV, and it seems like it goes on for an and you're like, oh, here we go. Just plodding down to the ring. But then when you're sitting there and you watch it live, you can't help but be engrossed in it.
Yeah.
And you literally, you're hanging on every single step that he takes to the ring. It's just the most incredible thing.
Yeah.
To see it live. So.
It's something, you know, so anyone that's got a chance to see like those entrances, you know, and if you haven't got a chance to see it, then obviously, you know, you missed on something. I know we're going on a bit of a tangent, but I think my favorite Undertaker entrance ever at WrestleMania is you know, the one with the hands when they're reaching out and grabbing. Oh, was
that
incredible.
27? Was it 27, 28?
I believe so. But do you know, before we move on, I think it's a nice little segue. But Xavier Woods was one of the hands. He mentioned it in the documentary. Yeah. So if you want to use that as your segue,
just one. Did he just put one hand?
I don't know. I think it was both. You know,
did
but I think they.
Sorry, I was going to say, did you do your pick, by the way?
Oh no. So I'm going vacant. Seth ain't getting the win.
Seth not getting the win.
No, but I'm sure someone. Oh, if I can't find it, then obviously I'll send you that. I'll send it in the group chat. But I think they wore like red spandex, like all in one suits or something, just so then they could reach their hands out. It was weird, man. Seeing them obviously backstage, but oh, what an entrance! That is probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah, and just the 119 was like because
yeah.
I was younger, American back, I understood my version I first knew. The transition back into the Phenom was around years ago since wrestling, like watching. But yeah, so really like missed segue into was meant to be. But anyway, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the tag match, which should have been a 6-man tag team match, but was obviously the very getting the neck go back on the Rebellious Noise in Biggie in the nicest guy we have ever met. The nicest ever to speak to. Yes, not out already and on the Rebellious Noise wrestling channel. Yes, so we go into actually meant to 6-man tag, but understand the real famous taking Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. No longer, he's now known as Xavier again. Xavier. With that picture, the YouTube looks like Photoshop that crown.
Yeah, it does. It does look huge.
It's red. So, guys, spotting a flat cap is, well, we know him as Pete Dunne. We're going to refer to him as Pete.
Yeah.
What a dumb name.
Yeah. Right. For some, you were jumping again. But yeah, I got mostly of what you said. But yeah, for people that didn't hear, Xavier's now gone back to Xavier Woods. He's no longer King Woods. But yeah, I really don't know why they done that. Yeah, Dan. So if Dan's mic was a bit glitchy there, technical difficulties. We are live. We're live, brother. But yeah, we do what we can do.
I think it's
yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, do you want to quickly touch on the Big E stuff?
Obviously, it's really sad situation. Thankfully, you know, God willing, he's okay, and you know, the vertebrae broke first. Literally could have or killed him, and so you know, he's so lucky that the fact that he's got such a thick just want to say, like, not just from me and from but the whole of the Rebellious Noise family, just well, the Big E. One of the that I ever had the pleasure of talking to. The best shout out Rebellious Noise I've ever received. So,
yeah.
If you
want. Yeah. I mean, I watched it back. Weird. Do you know what? I watched it back on the YouTube channel. But it was very strange because my wife, she now watches the show. She has done since I think since we had COVID, and then she started watching the pay-per-views with us. But yeah, she sent me the link, and she was like, "Have you seen what happened to Big E?" And I was like, "No, why?" And she sent me, and she was like, "Is he okay?" I was like, "I don't know." So she was badgering me. She was going, check on Twitter, check online, see if there's any updates. I was like, all right. So I looked, and I sent her the links, and she was like, "Oh, I'm glad." She was acting like they were besties. It did pop me. But yeah, knowing that she was worried for Big E, as we all were. But yeah, I hope he gets well soon. I'm just glad that he's healing well. If you've seen on his Twitter, he spent his time building a Seinfeld Lego, which
such a geek thing to do as well.
It fully is. But yeah, it's nice to see that he's still going. He's okay, as he can be, recovering well. So I mean, we always say when someone gets injured and stuff, like, just take your time. There's yes, we are going to miss you, but your health's first. I'd rather have a fully 100% healed Big E than a 75% because he has to get back because he thinks he has to. Obviously, we'll miss him. We all love him as a superstar, but 100% healed Big E is what we want first. But yeah, I hope he does get well soon.
And the thing is, with these kind of injuries, that you can't rush it. And
exactly.
We rather have another 10 years of a fully healed than a year of like a half
yeah.
Big. And the thing is, I think the longer we wait, the more we're missing the possibility when it does eventually come back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised though if we do hear, depending on how his neck is, we hear, "Oh, Dallas." I would love to hear that tomorrow. Hopefully, if you are around to do it, please.
Yeah, even for that.
Yeah, even if it's just for that, depending on, or you can even, next week, see no contact with him, but keep him as much cotton as we can. That guy is a guy that you treat the company. And to be fair, any new guys would be very fit. There's 3 guys as well. They're all very, very talented guys. This is really a match of the contender, actually.
Yeah.
You guys in this.
I don't want to say it's New Day purely because of what's going on with E. And I think, as you said, this could be a contender for match of the night, and they could steal the show, which I love. I love when tag teams steal the show at events like Mania or SummerSlam and stuff, because it really shows that all this time they don't invest in tag team wrestling. The guys just go out and they just A-star it, or like get they distinction the match, and it's incredible. I love tag team wrestling, as you know, like my love for the Usos. But yeah, I'm going with New Day. I think they're going to get the win. I feel it's right that they get the win, bearing in mind Woods has kind of lost the King kind of gimmick and stuff like that. And I mean, the other three, I don't really think by taking the L, it's not going to affect them because they can build off of that. It's something that we can see. But yeah, I don't like the idea of this Pete Dunne's Butch, but it'll grow on us. Doudrop grew on us. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little name change.
I'm still not buying Walter as Gunther, and they've changed his bloody music as well.
I know.
I was watching Stand and Deliver before we came on, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You had something good with Walter, that music, that guy, that name, and then you change him to Gunther and give him generic classic music 4 or something. It's like, oh,
I know.
such a frustration.
I know that's what happens when we're wrestling fans. We get frustrated by the smallest of changes. But yeah, no. Has it been announced of what 2 are going to be competing in the match?
I think they said it's Sheamus and Ridge.
Right. Okay. Because for some reason, I thought if it was Ridge and Butch, it might be. I don't know. I don't know if my mind would change. Actually, I don't know. I think maybe it was 2 different guys. Then it may change only because it's something that we haven't seen. And the boys from the New Day wouldn't know how to do it or how to compete against that. But I mean, if it's Sheamus and Ridge, then I think New Day are getting the win.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same boat as you. I think New Day to go over in it. I don't see the others getting the victory yet. Possibly could lead to something, maybe a SummerSlam thing, depending on obviously, or they could even run it back when he's healthy, like next year, maybe. Hopefully, if he's back by then. But who knows? We do actually have a comment here as well. Mania hot take: all the faces to win night 1, all the heels to win night 2. You know the deal. Well, Who knows? Who knows? So that would be if my mind serves me correctly. So you're saying that you think it would be Becky Lynch, Dominik and Rey Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, Boogs and Nakamura, TBA, and the New Day so far. So not too dissimilar to, I think we've gone different. So we said obviously that Miz and Logan Paul would win the tag match. You've obviously gone with Bianca to win. So I've gone with the heel to win the Raw Women's title match. You've gone with the heels to win the SmackDown tag team title match. But yeah, other than that, I think we're both we are pretty babyface kind of heavy on this one at the minute. So
yeah, but that can all change, I mean, saying that it's crazy, man. This is what I love about WrestleMania because, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. We still don't know who the TBA is. We spoke quite a bit on that. We still got one more match to cover, and then the main event of the night, which I find weird.
It should always be a match. Well, the thing is, I mean, we'll get to it obviously when we come to it, but let's go to going on this theory from the deal, right? Let's get onto the theory here. So they say the baby faces are all going to win. I don't think there is one in this match.
I think it's Charlotte.
They both work as like what we would call tweeners. So they both work as like a facey and a heely style. So obviously it's SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Ironically, so I know I keep going back to WrestleMania 35. All 3 of the women that were in that main event, the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania, Charlotte, Ronda, Becky, they're all in this match, all in this show, and all in women's title matches again.
It's nice to see.
It is, and I do think they're going to kind of book it because I mean I think the opening match of WrestleMania now has as much importance as the main event of WrestleMania, and that's why I think they're gonna open it with one of them and close it with one of them. Obviously, they close it, I think, with the Austin and Owens thing. But yeah, for this match, so obviously it's my go to pick first on this one. See, I think it all depends. It's hard because you don't know what Ronda's contract is. Is it like a kind of come in, do this kind of couple of matches, and then we don't see her again till SummerSlam? Or is it a case of, okay, she's back, she's going to do a full-time schedule? Because I think if she's back to the full-time schedule, you'd say 100% Ronda Rousey. If she's back to do a few matches, you're thinking, okay, maybe then Charlotte will win. Ronda can then challenge again down the line, possibly. That being said, I'm going to have to go, I think, with Ronda Rousey to become your new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Whew. Well, we're split again, man, because I think Charlotte's retaining. I think the reactions that we've had. So Ronda come back, right? So Ronda made her return. Crowd went crazy. Obviously they popped. I was like, ugh, here we go again. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest Ronda fan. I've said that on this channel before. Do you know what? I've also said that I think Shayna Baszler is the better wrestler between her and Ronda. Obviously, both of them being friends. There's something about Ronda that it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know what it is. If I wish I knew, because I could get past that and then kind of enjoy wrestling. But there's something about Ronda that I just can't enjoy. Yeah. And since she's had her return, there's a lot of people have said that they wish she didn't come back. You know, they don't want to see this. This is a match they're not looking forward to. I've seen a lot of that on Twitter. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the match to see what happens. I always like, especially when someone like she's been away. If she's been training, we don't know. There was a video with her and Shayna Baszler rolling, doing some rolls and stuff like that in a ring. I can't think that was on Instagram or Twitter. But yeah, man, I really don't know. And again, as I was saying, this is one of those matches where you can see, okay, maybe Ronda has improved, and I'd love to see that, so I can say, okay, I enjoyed the match, and I'm really excited to enjoy Ronda. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think if you get in the ring with Charlotte, no matter how experienced you are, Charlotte is that person that's going to control the match. She's so good. Granted, we've had our gripes about her being a multi-time champion, as a Flair is, but I think Charlotte's going to retain. I think I reckon it's going to be one of those things they judge it on crowd reaction on the night. They've called things like that on the fly before. You know, the thing with Seth cashing in at WrestleMania. You was there for that, wasn't you?
What's that?
When Seth cashed in at WrestleMania, was you?
No, I was at 35 and 23.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I reckon, but I feel like it's going to be one of their moments where not a cash in, but they're going to call it on the fly of, all right, well, the crowd isn't doing this, just not how we want it. I reckon they'll have a plan A, plan B going into this match. And if the crowd isn't feeding Ronda, then I reckon Charlotte will retain. I reckon it's going to be based off crowd, which is quite fascinating, actually, because that could make or break the match. But yeah, that's my theory anyway. You know, not that I'm throwing conspiracies out there. Hello, I did just say that Scott could be the mystery opponent for Seth Rollins, but you know, exactly that. But yeah, I'm going with a retain for Charlotte Flair.
A retention for Charlotte Flair. Let's lock that in. So, yeah, we are kind of split with these. So we obviously then will get to the very brief, because I mean I have to go soon, so then you're going to be left obviously with just Rob for a little bit. But we are going to briefly touch on the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think both men are going to arrive, raise hell, sink a few beers, throw a few stunners, leave. Or could it turn potentially into a match? So, who knows?
Do you think it's going to be like? Yeah, I mean, I've seen, obviously, as you know, the dirt sheets run wild, especially around Mania. Do you think it's going to be one of those things where? Do you remember when The Rock faced Eric Rowan? And it was like a 5-6 second match.
Yeah,
it's going to be like that. Do you think it'll be a match as quick as that?
Possibly. So I mean, the thing is, you look at Austin at 57. The shape that guy is in is incredible.
Is he 57?
Like, 57 years old, and the shape that he's in. He's not wrestled for 20 years. Like WrestleMania 19 was the last match he had with The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would it really be out of the realms of possibility whatever the phrase is? I don't flipping know, but
it's late.
Yeah, like literally, would it be too much for him really just to get in there, throw a few hands with Owens, have like a bit of a brawl, like as an official match, and then hit a stunner 1, 2, 3? Not really, but I don't know if that. I do think though the last thing of WrestleMania is going to be Kevin Owens on his back in the middle of the ring with Austin and a couple of beers. We may even get Taker come out at the end to share a beer with Austin. Who knows?
That could be a nice little moment.
Could be a nice little touch. Like, who was it who did the who did it that year with when the legends all came out and literally kept hitting them with finishers?
Was it Heath Slater?
Legends Raw, yeah. And they literally was just there just to take a shed load of finishers. But yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm on the similar like kind of wavelength. Obviously, I think it's going to end in a beer bath. We know that. It's not an Austin segment if there's not beer baths involved. Is Owens going to get stunned? I hope so. I'm interested to see how he sells the stunner as well, because being that he's been giving stunners for the past few years, it's always nice to see the person that does the move be on the receiving end of it. So if Austin puts some stank on that stunner and
put some stank on it.
Thank you. It's going to be interesting to see how he sells it. I'm intrigued. I really don't know what's going to happen. Obviously they set up for a match. They pushed for a match. Obviously now we've got a segment of the KO show. Whether that goes into a match, I don't know. But can I just give a round of applause for Owens carrying, I would say, something of a feud without the guy even being there. It takes a lot to be able to do that sort of stuff. There's only a handful of people can really do that. Bray being one of them when he's on his feud with Taker. But man, the Owens, the mind games coming out bald, little things like that. It's been great, just popping fans and breaking their moments. Every single time you're a glass shatter, and now you're not sure if it's Owens or Austin. And I love that. Owens has done great. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but as long as we get to see a beer bath and Owens take a stunner, I'm happy. Your thoughts on it being last though? Do you think it's wise? Is that what we want to? Is that how they want to send the fans home for the first night?
No, but I can see why they're doing it, because a lot of them there will probably be like, oh, we've seen Austin, we're going to go home now.
Yeah,
sort of thing. Like if it's kind of getting late onto the show, like imagine you had a match that had to follow Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's basically the Austin thing is your big pop for that night, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think anyway. In my opinion, the Austin pop is going to be your biggest pop of that night. Probably other than Seth's opponent, that could also be a very big pop. But I think the Austin pop is going to be the biggest one that you're going to be waiting for. And can you imagine literally having to go after that? It's like, I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the people that would have to follow that. So I think for that reason, it makes sense going last. Am I a fan of a segment ending WrestleMania? Not really.
Yeah.
But Stone Cold Steve Austin headlining a WrestleMania. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how you got to look at it, because as you said, a segment ending Mania is not what you want, but I think if the segment involves Austin and Austin's the one that's having a beer bath at the end of Mania, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining. You know, everyone's going to go mad for it. And I think whatever match is on just before that, we know is the main event. So if it is Charlotte and Ronda, we know technically they've main evented Mania for that night. But this, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as I say, like, you know, segment wise, I'm not overly keen on, but you know, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
he will arrive, raise hell, and leave. And yeah, it's one of them where, you know, that pop for Austin, you're not gonna get that, I don't think, for anyone else on the card. So why would you want to kind of waste that in the middle of a show? You'd want it to be the last thing, send the fans home happy kind of thing. So I think so. That for me is, I guess, where I bid you farewell.
Yeah, man.
I think you're probably going to be joined, I think, by Scott in a while. Lucas, I don't think is going to make it, but he's going to send his predictions through to you. So
he is indeed.
Yeah, you guys are going to be left with Rob. So obviously, massive thanks though to you for sticking around for it. And we will now hand over the reins to your good self. So be nice about us. So anyway, take care, guys. Enjoy WrestleMania Night 1. So see you later.
In a bit, man. Yeah, guys. So as he said, I'm going to be on my own now. So if there's the people that are watching, comment the match you're most looking forward to, and who you think is actually going to be Seth's mystery opponent. As we've already said, there's been a few names kind of floating. Cody, I guess, being the main one. It's going to be interesting knowing. I think it's going to be interesting in general to who it is going to be. But yeah, please comment who you think it is, and we'll go through, you know, the people that you've either seen running around in a dirt sheet or who you think it could be. For me, for the thing we're talking about, it's Seth going against to be announced. I really don't know who it's going to be. I think the main name that's kind of, as I said earlier, at the end of everyone's tongues is Cody. We've already seen on Twitter that it's not re-signed with AEW, that he left on good terms. Whether or not he appears, we don't know. You know, again, we've seen on dirt sheets and rumors on Twitter from a lot of people that have in the know inside knowledge within WWE that Cody has signed. We don't know how much of that is true, how much of that isn't. But yeah, if it's going to be Cody, then I'm going to look forward to it. As I've already said, I think whoever the TBA is will take the victory. Seth is going to be there to take the pinfall. I can't really see it being many people though. As Dan was saying earlier, any guy from NXT is going to be like Braun. It'll be nice for him to come up. That'd be lovely. Ciampa, another one that could. He's been around on the main roster for a little while. You know, he's been floating for a little while. So if it was him, that would be great. But yeah, it's going to be a hard one to predict. I guess I think that's why we didn't bonus point it. I should have asked them we should have asked to do a bonus point and see who it was. If that was fair, I know they probably would have not liked that purely because that's a fair game and anyone could have picked anyone. Do you want it to be Undertaker? It's a question that I guess that we were kind of talking about. Yes and no. As I said, I gave my views earlier that I guess if it is Taker, then I think it's one of those things where Taker could kind of come back, take a pinfall, and then ride off into the sunset. And that would be that. As I said earlier, Cena done it a couple of years back, so Seth could do the same thing. Yeah, I think that if there is going to be anyone, it's going to be this guy, this Scott. I reckon it's in America for a reason. He hasn't actually told us why. He's saying he's there for, I guess, sightseeing, but it could be his cover-up story to be the guy that walks out, and maybe takes the. I mean, if going by what I've just said, and Seth is taking the pin, then I'm not sure if I like the idea of Scott being victorious because he'd have that over all three of us for I guess the history of what we would be doing with Rebellious Noise on these predictions on the podcast and stuff. A match, I guess, that I am really, really looking forward to, though, is this one, which is Ray and Dominik versus Logan and The Miz. A lot of people have been moaning about the match. However, I feel like it's something that we don't see that often. We all sometimes... Hi, Will Rally Sport. Mania, baby. How you doing, Will Rally Sport? Thanks for joining us. Hope you're well. If you have any ideas of who the mystery opponent could be for Seth Rollins, as I was just talking about, then hit it up in the comments and we'll have a discussion about it quickly. I was just talking about the match I'm really looking forward to seeing, though, which is the Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul. Reason I'm looking forward to it is because, as I was saying, Logan is kind of athletic. He has a wrestling background. Obviously, he's done his boxing. Bad Bunny was fantastic in the match when he was against The Miz, when he teamed with Damian Priest. And I feel like Logan Paul could maybe do a lot better than Bad Bunny. I mean, that's just my prediction on that. I have predicted for Miz and Logan Paul to win. So I'm that much of a dead cert that it could be a fantastic match. But it's the one I'm really looking forward to the most. But yeah. Who do you think on first? Who do you think on first? Charlotte, Ronda, I think, then Stone Cold last. Didn't go after that segment. Yeah, no, I agree. We you've just joined us. Me and Dan were just speaking before Dan left. So on first, we actually have Charlotte. Now on first we have Becky and Bianca. We think they're going to open the show, and then to end the show is going to be or to main event the pay-per-view is going to, or PLE, it's going to be Charlotte and Ronda. But you know, you're right. I think anyone going after the Austin segment it's not what you want to do, is it? I said where we go home happy, we get to see Austin having a beer bath and someone receiving a stunner. You know, that we're happy as wrestling fans if we get to see that. If we were saying, are we happy that the first night of WrestleMania ends on a kind of like a segment? No, I guess it's the answer. But because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think we kind of overlooked that, and we'll be happy that he's there. But yeah, like it's gonna be a good show. I do hope it's gonna be a good show. You're going for Taker, Shane, Gable Stevenson, or Cody, one of them to face Seth. Yeah. So obviously we were speaking about Taker. Shane McMahon. So he got let go quietly. Recently, obviously, he got let go quietly. Could he come back though? Maybe. It's it's a never say never place. And it could be Shane could come back for one night, which would be okay. Do you want to see Shane versus Seth though? I guess that's the question. Shane versus Seth. I think without a build, I think whoever comes out through that curtain after Seth Rollins, I think it can either make or break the match itself. If Seth comes out and then all of a sudden we hear a gong and it's Taker, we're gonna lose our minds. If Seth comes out and then here comes the money plays, are you gonna be as happy? I mean, in my opinion, no. Do you know what I mean? Like it's no offense to Shane, but I don't think the pop would be as huge for this moment. You also said Taker, Shane, Gable Stevenson. Maybe one of those. But I think, to be honest though, the main person that's on everyone's lips is Cody Rhodes. And Ronda is absolutely awful. She needs to get tips of KO. I hope Charlotte wins. Yeah, do you know? I don't know how to put it with this Ronda Rousey thing. Some people like her, some people don't. Look, I appreciate her as a performer. She's done fantastic in the UFC. Obviously, her last few matches or last few fights, should we say, wasn't how she wanted to, I guess, end her career. I guess same with CM Punk. He didn't have a great run in the octagon, and then come to AEW, and look, he's been fantastic since. Ronda, on the other hand, was fantastic at the start. It was the last few fights that I guess kind of changed her the way she wanted to retire. But yeah, I think with Ronda, I guess coming from a judo background, competing in Olympics, going into the UFC, it's always been straight fighting. It's been shoot fighting. There's always been. It's different to wrestling. Some people can do that transition well. Ronda has transitioned well and gone into wrestling. She's a good performer. I just think there's something that fans can't get behind with Ronda, and I don't know what that is. Some people enjoy her, some people don't. Me personally, I really struggle when it comes to Ronda. I was struggled the first time when she debuted. Since she's returned, I've also struggled. Something about her I just can't enjoy, and I don't know what it is. But yeah, if you feel the same, then let me know. Edge and Kevin Owens, best promos in WWE. Do you agree? AEW, Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, MJF, best promos. Yeah, man, 100%. Edge and Kevin Owens have been fantastic, especially on the build up to WrestleMania. I always feel when you have people that can actually talk on a mic and makes you believe every single word of what they're saying and suck you into this promo and then just deliver it and then hit a home run. When you do a promo, especially on a build up to WrestleMania, is something special. I mean, another guy I'd say you could throw in there, Bray Wyatt. When he done a full build to feud Undertaker without Undertaker even appearing when he faced him at WrestleMania a few years back. Obviously they used some camera tricking and some special effects and like the lightning to appear that Taker was there. Obviously, we know that he wasn't. But yeah, there's one of few people that can kind of build or carry a whole feud with that one on one side. Yeah, so it's gonna be eventful for the KO and Austin thing, Edge and stuff. We are gonna be covering the match of Edge and AJ Styles tomorrow. Obviously, our predictions will be. We're going on tomorrow. Hopefully all of us are here, and Dan and Scott and hopefully Lucas will be able to join us. As we were saying, Scott is currently in America. Dan's just left because as an old man, he needs to have his nap before WrestleMania. As he will get cranky and probably fall asleep. Yeah, it is one of those things. And Lucas is currently away at the moment. Hopefully he joins us tomorrow. Waiting for him to send his predictions in so I could actually run them down for him. But yeah, man, like it's gonna be a good show. What match are you most looking forward to? I am from the UK. Yeah, my accent. I'm guessing you can tell. It's yeah. So definitely from the UK. As you said, you're from the UK too. What part of the UK are you from? Like area wise, city or town and whatnot. Anyone else is watching at the moment? Tell us where you're from. If you're America or UK or anywhere else in the world, where you're going to be watching WrestleMania from. We love knowing, getting to know our fans, and seeing where everyone else is from, and it's always nice to see where everyone else is from. What match are you most looking forward to? I think is the main question, or what match can steal the show? Me and Dan were talking about this while he was here, and we believe that the Usos and Boogs and Nakamura could steal the show. If it's not that one, then I reckon it could also be this match. Which is Woods, no longer King Woods, and Kofi versus Sheamus and Co. Now, the tag matches I always feel they have this ability to steal the show purely because obviously there's a few more guys in the ring. There's a bit more of a story you can tell on the outside why stuff's going on the inside. You can get lost in the match a lot easier because stuff can happen that can make the match change and kind of switch pace. It's easier to switch pace. But yeah, those are the matches that I think could steal the show. Tell me in the comments which one you think it is, and then we'll kind of have a little rundown and see what you think. Funniest thing I seen yesterday, Scott Steiner talking about cows, Sean Ross Sapp eliminated by Denise Ladd at GCW low blow, chucked over the top rope. So yeah, are you a GCW fan, that's something that's I would love to do on this podcast, this channel. Is kind of incorporate more wrestling. Obviously, it's RN Pro Wrestling channel, so as much wrestling as we can would be absolutely fantastic. We already cover AEW. That's me and Scott, and occasionally Tom from the Talking Beans podcast that he does with Scott. So we cover that. As you know, it's myself, Scott, Lucas, and Dan will cover WWE. I would love to cover Impact. Impact's doing some amazing stuff right now. And that'd be something that maybe we could do in future. So I think it's just working out timetables and things like that, and covering GCW would be great. And with AEW now, Ring of Honor, there's so much wrestling, so much going on in the wrestling building. What a time to be a wrestling fan. Overall, we've got to love it. You're from Preston, Lancashire, up in the north. Yeah, Lancashire is lovely. Up in the north. And you said Wade Barrett is from Preston NXT. Yes, that is correct. Barrett's another Brit, representing us. I guess along with this man, which would be Drew McIntyre. Do you have a prediction for Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin? I'm so used to calling him Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin. Who do you think's going over? Do you think with, as we were saying earlier, with both Madcap now and Happy Corbin being Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winners, what a mouthful that is. Is that something do you reckon they'll bring into a story and a way to build both of them? It's weird. However, our predictions for that match, if you missed it, myself and Dan both said it's going to be Drew. And we were saying how easy it is to overlook Happy Corbin in these kind of WrestleMania moments on spots, which is, even if we are overlooking him in our prediction, it's weird how the minute someone goes against Corbin at Mania, no matter who it is, you feel like that person's going to win. When we, if Roman went against him, or Roman went against him, we automatically said Roman. It's very weird how Corbin gets this kind of thing about the minute he's at Mania or is in a specific match, he's going to lose it. And I don't know why that is. The odds always seem to be kind of against him and stacked against him. And I think he's always been that way since he became, since he stopped being the lone wolf and he was in, do you remember the gimmick just before he became King Corbin, when he was in like the suit and tie, the Commissioner Corbin? It was, I think since then, the odds have always been stacked against him for like these big matches and stuff like that, especially at things like Mania. And it's very weird. And, he's got two protected championships. Two protected finishing moves, which, Deep Six and End of Days, which both of them are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So, I guess with him being overlooked in some things, knowing that their moves are protected, I guess is quite important for him. And I never want to see anyone kick out of the End of Days. I think that's something that the longer they push that's something that can really, really, really build him as a superstar. He's fantastic on the mic. He makes you believe every word he says. You love to boo him. Hey, he's doing his job. Looking forward to hopefully Liv Morgan getting a first title. Totally underrated. Don't upset me like everyone else I'm written to and say Liv Scope. Hey, listen, since we have been doing these podcasts and predictions and reviews, there's been one name that I've always said that I wanted to see become a women's champion, and that's Liv Morgan. Big fan, totally behind her since she separated from obviously the Riot Squad, and she's been an independent wrestler. She's really grown into herself. She's actually become a better competitor. Not that she was a bad competitor before, but sometimes you always get lost in the shuffle when you're a part of like a bigger, like a stable, like the Shield. Dean Ambrose was always the one that kind of got left to the side because Seth was a main guy, and obviously so was Roman. I feel like Liv Morgan was kind of pushed to the side along with Sarah Logan, and the main person of the Riot Squad was Ruby Riott. But yeah, since she's been apart and she's been doing nothing independently, she's really grown. Definitely most improved, as Will Raleigh Sport rightly says. Most improved women's wrestler in the last 2 years is Liv Morgan. I 100% agree with you. I can't wait. We've been saying for a long, long time now that Liv Morgan should be the person to win the championship. But do you think now is the time? Because we always get this strike while the iron's hot thing. And WWE never seems to want to do that. And then by the time they finally strike, it's the moment's gone. It's happened so many times. Braun Strowman is a perfect example of that. He got it too late. And I don't really think it done a lot for him, especially in the time that he got it during COVID. This COVID era that we had, and the Thunderdome era, I guess should we call it. It wasn't great because no one was interested after that point. You know, it was just a build up for Roman to finally become the champion. You know, obviously beating Bray in the process. But yeah, Liv Morgan, if she was to win championship, fantastic. I would absolutely love Liv Morgan to win it. We're just saying, end of days, sad fact, not one wrestler has ever kicked out of end of days. I know, I absolutely love it. What a thing to have. You know, you might not have the most championships. You might be like a very hated wrestler. You can always have the odds stacked against you. But hey, if you've got a finishing move that no one has kicked out of, that says something. It's got to say something, right? And Corbin's gone through quite a few gimmicks in, you know, the short space of time that he's, I guess the short space of time, maybe 4 or 5 years or something. The amount of time that he's been around and he's gone through a few gimmicks. Not every single wrestler could kind of deal with that. You know, sometimes they'll come in, you know, and they'll get lost in the shuffle instantly. Corbin has always been had a way to kind of rebrand himself and bring himself back in, which has been great. I've really enjoyed it. And I see we have a wild person in the stream all of a sudden.
Hello.
Trying to hold down a fort while you're getting yourself ready for your match.
How's it been?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Real Rally Sport's been keeping me company.
Good as always. Thanks for joining us.
I'm not sure how much of the show you've seen. Obviously, we'll do your predictions, but have you got a prediction for this match by any chance of who the vacant person is?
Oh, so surely Cody Rhodes, isn't it?
Hey, well, look, there's only one man for the job, and I think it's this man right here. It's going to be a battle of the drip.
Yeah, I think surely it is. But you know what I'd really enjoy if it wasn't? It was a swerve and we got Cody somewhere else. Kind of like AEW's Daniel Bryan reveal, you know, where we got Bryan Danielson, I should say, where we got Adam Cole. You know, like it's a risky move, so it would be even better if Cody was a surprise before it, rather than it be like that. Unless it's someone else massive, and it's like, well, you know. But what's the general consensus? Everyone's saying Cody as well.
Well, me and Dan spoke. There was a few names that obviously are the tips of people's tongues. I think Cody is the main one.
Yeah.
But he's also said Braun from NXT was another one that he's kind of seen floating around.
Right, yeah.
Obviously after the Hall of Fame speech last night, maybe Taker.
Really? See, I saw half a Taker's one, then I fell asleep. That sounds like I'm.
Hey.
No,
put some respect on the dead man's name.
I got that really late. Started watching it. I was like, I'm at least gonna watch Taker's one, but I haven't managed to see it all. I was very tired. From what I did see, it was really good. So yeah, I'd have to definitely fit that.
Was there any ninjas cutting onions when you?
Oh, of course there were. Buddy.
Oh man,
here. But yeah. Bron Breakker's an interesting one because obviously his dad just got inducted as well, didn't he? So yeah, that's quite interesting. Did that NXT show happen today?
It did. Unfortunately, I actually haven't seen it. I've been out all day, and then I literally come back and got set up for this. So I'm way out of the loop of everything that's happened on NXT.
Right, yeah, no, I get you.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because we have SmackDown on the Friday, and then we had the Hall of Fame. And normally, it's weird when we used to have NXT on a Friday.
Yeah,
and then the Hall of Fame on a Saturday.
Got mixed up. Past few years, it's like they keep mixing up schedule. Now that they've got a 2-night WrestleMania, which I'm still not a fan of.
No?
Nah.
It's funny because me and Dan were speaking about this, and I think I'm now starting to enjoy it because we get that break and we can kind of enjoy the Mania as a spectacle that it's supposed to be.
My big worry is that I don't doubt that they're not going to get to the point where they also start doing 5 hours a night, and that'll be annoying. Like it seems to stop that at the moment, but I feel like we're going to get there. And for someone, I was thinking about going this year, didn't go anyway, and a big part of that kind of was because obviously I'm in America at the moment, and I was going to try and hop over to Dallas. A big part of what made it difficult was the fact that Mania was 2 nights. And I would have to have at least been there for those 2 nights. And it was just, I just think it's, it's a lot of money. There's been a lot of rumors about how much they've struggled to sell tickets this time. So yeah, I'm still not quite convinced, but I did enjoy it when it was the crazy year where no one was there, because it was exciting. We had 2 nights to distract us from stuff, but I'm still not 100% sold. And I don't think it's made. I'm a casual New Japan viewer, and it's made me stop watching Wrestle Kingdom. So,
really,
I haven't watched Wrestle Kingdom in years because of it. So,
wow.
I watched the first one that went 2 nights, and then I just gave up. Too much.
It's weird. I think the only reason I enjoy it more now over the 2 nights is because from the UK, it's such a late showing, dude. Do you know what I mean? It's so draining. If we watched it from 12 o'clock and it finishes at 6 hours worth of wrestling, you struggle to get invested. You get tired, and especially when you're at home because you're comfortable. So you got all your creature comfort. So you feel like you drift away, and nod off quicker. A bit like me in a cinema, actually.
I don't know how you do that, but yeah.
Easy. If the film ain't good, mate, this is how I judge it. If I fall asleep during the cinema, the film ain't that good. But that's for a whole nother story. But yeah, being in the UK and knowing that we've got Mania for 2 nights, I'm more relaxed because I'm like, I can catch up with what I missed on the next after I'm awake if I do fall asleep. Yeah. And then I've got another night kind of to prepare myself. The only bad side of it is it puts my body clock way out of sync because like I'm awake and then sleep throughout the day, and then I'm awake again and sleep throughout the day. Yeah.
To do it twice over a weekend is tough. I just think it's a big commitment. Watching WrestleMania at the moment feels like commitment. And this week, again, I am on holiday. Yeah, so it's hard. And the time, actually, ironically, I'm in the right time zone now. But I've struggled to keep up. Like, I have no idea what happened on Raw and SmackDown this week. Not a clue. I saw a picture of Becky Lynch's hair getting cut. That's all I know. I don't know anything what happened behind that. So when I do my predictions in a minute, this is the year where it's all, this is the show where it's all important. Am I going to catch up? I don't think so. I think you guys are safe because I don't know what's going on at the moment.
Listen, man, you know all about it because, as I said, you're there. You're that vacant. You're taking this spot, and we know it's happening. So you don't need to lie to us, mate. The dirt sheets are telling the
truth. I'm there. Yeah, that's why I'm in the States. Of course.
That's why. Yeah. That's the only reason you're there, man.
I'm in a hotel across from the stadium.
Yeah, I believe you. What did
you do if I actually did walk out in 3-4 hours time?
Do you know what? Right, I was saying before you come on. Whoever faces against Seth, the vacant person faces against Seth is there to take an L.
Oh, he's got it,
Yeah, and I was like, Seth's taking the L, and whoever's vacant, obviously, is getting that victory and a WrestleMania moment on return, and then a windfall. Then all of a sudden, a windfall, get a win.
Are you mixing up windfall and win?
I am, mate. I'm going with it. They're getting a windfall. Opponent, you're getting this windfall, and I don't know if I like the idea of you having a pinfall over Seth, because you'd hold that over all of us, and I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up, mate. I'm not there.
That's a scary thought, That I don't think I could do this podcast again without you not bringing that up.
It would be cool though. If I lost a predictions table, I'd still win something. I'd beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So
you'll always be a winner in our eyes, mate. Don't you worry.
Of course. Thank you.
Unless it's a prediction table, because
Hey, come on. All right.
So do you want to get onto your predictions?
Obviously, let me. Have we got Lucas's things as well?
I'm just looking now.
I think he's here in the chat. actually.
Did he send it already?
It's him on the DKW account. Don't know how you can fit that all in without sleeping. This was in the talking about all the shows that Will Rally Sports been watching. Here we go. Did you? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, exactly. Look how busy the week's been. Always is around WrestleMania week. All that content. It is too much. Sometimes you can have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm happy that there's loads of wrestling going on. What I'm not happy about is the amount that's going on. Do you know what? If it wasn't the WWE weekend, because it's a WWE week basically, right?
Yeah.
If that weren't going on, no one would be complaining with the amount of wrestling that we're watching. But as Will Rally Sport was what's just said, he's seen GCW, the GCW, Ring of Honor, SmackDown, Rampage. Then we had the Hall of Fame. Then we got Raw. And then we've had NXT today. And then that's without Impact. Do you know what I mean? There's so much. Like, it's trying to catch up. And, you know, as one person, it's hard enough as it is. That's why I'm glad we got this podcast.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like you say, because it's so much stuff. Like, these weeks are always crazy, like around Mania. There's all these companies doing different things. But like I say, because WWE themselves are doing so much, it's hard, like at least there's an alternative. You don't have to watch all those things. But where it's a one product, you kind of feel like you need to watch all the WWE stuff, you know, and they're kind of taken away from, don't get me wrong, all these other companies have piggybacked off of them for years as far as going to wherever Mania is and having the alternative shows. But like last time I went to WrestleMania was that G1 show with New Japan and Ring of Honor MSG. Yeah. And I went to that instead of the Hall of Fame. And it is tough making these decisions. But then when there's NXT as well, I mean, NXT isn't where it was, to be fair. So I think I'd easily skip that now. but it's not easy. And then Raw and SmackDown, and do the Raw after Mania, does that still have the same shine? Now we've got these stupid Raw WrestleMania, SmackDown WrestleMania shows as well. Yeah, annoying.
Yeah, just a question. That when you said you went to the Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden, is that when you interviewed Jay Lethal?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. All elite Jay Lethal now, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Do you know what? That was I loved it. It was such a good interview. Like, I think I've said this quite a lot. Not to blow smoke up your backside and blow your trumpet. But yeah, there's some when you do your interviews, go back and watch all the ones that they've done on obviously this channel and on the old channel. The way you do your interviews, the show easy to watch. You know, the questions make sense. There's no beating around the bush about it, and you know, there's something about you and Dan that are able to just bring the person out in an interview, and it's such an easy thing to watch. So, for every single one that we've watched, it's been great, and the Jay Lethal one was good. But the ones that you've done recently with Big E,
Big E one was great. Yeah, really fun.
Shout out,
nice guy. Obviously, best wishes to Big E. Obviously, not in the best of health, but then again, doing better than I think it looked like it was at first as well. So that's a positive thing. But so that what did you guys do for predictions then? As far as that Seth Rollins match, did you actually predict it? Did you do like we've done in the past, where you say it will be the vacant person no matter who it is? Did you do that kind of thing?
So the way me and Dan have done it, we kind of just spoke on who we think it could be. We didn't make a prediction on who it is, but we done a prediction on the match. The match that we're talking about for everyone else is Seth versus Vacant, which is this one here. Basically we just said who we think is going to win, Seth or the vacant person, and both of us said Vacant.
Okay, so no matter who the person is, okay, gotcha. So you said that as well, about Vacant more likely to win, but is it not just enough to have their moment as their return, and then Seth wins? Is that not enough? But then would that be controversial depending on who it is and how they lose? You know, I remember when I was like Cesaro winning at Mania last year, because I was like, the moment is the match for Cesaro, and then I think he won. I was like, oh,
yeah.
So, maybe I shouldn't go after my same stupid ideas that clearly didn't work last year. All right, okay. So is this my prediction time as well?
If you want to, I just want to check the.
I'm just sending into thing, just to get Lucas, see if he's sending his through as well.
I've got Lucas's in front of me. I think he sent them to.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think he sent them to. Yeah, he sent them to Dan because Dan's updated the spreadsheet. So if you want, I can read them up as we go.
Yeah, I guess as we go along, and it might be unfair to tell me what everyone said on each one of them for me to be Get the unfair advantage.
I will get you on first, and then I'll tell you everyone else.
I mean, be unfair if I'm first every time, though. Tell me sometimes.
Hey, how do you want to do this, man?
I'm saying sometimes tell me all of them, sometimes tell me just one, sometimes tell me two. You know, like mix and match, just to make it a bit more fair.
Sprinkle a bit of salt on, give it some flavour.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So tell me what you got.
All right. So for first one, which would be, we're going with Becky versus Bianca. The first match we predicted, I have gone for Bianca Belair, and Dan has gone for Becky Lynch.
Okay. What about Lucas?
I'll give you Lucas's after.
Oh, okay. So you are mixing a match. All right, I got it. Appreciate that. Lucas has gone. All right. So one's gone for Becky, one's gone for Bianca.
Yep.
I'm going for Bianca.
Ooh. Okay.
She better win it. I'll say that.
Any reason why?
Because she better win it. That's why.
Do you know, I was saying to Dan, it feels like, and this is not a jab at Becky, but since she's
she'll jab right back.
Yeah, she will. Fully. That Irish blood, man. But it just feels like she had 16-month break, obviously being pregnant, giving birth, motherhood and stuff for a while before returning to the ring. And I just feel like we've kind of gone past that, and she's always been there. Like, it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? The way she's been.
Yeah, because she was champ for so long before it. Yeah, she's been champ since she come back.
Since SummerSlam, basically.
It does feel like it's really long. It feels like the Roman one, even though Roman's is as long, you know? One sec, I'm going to try it because the pre-show is about to start, right? So I'm going to try and get this on TV, but on mute, obviously, so that we are careful with our copyrighted thing. Just get my assistant to help.
As Ronnie Storm's not around either.
Ronnie Storm's not here, Ronnie Storm's in the background working on stuff. Ronnie Storm didn't make it to New York.
Prepping his promos.
Hold on, I'm going to grab a drink as well. Hold on. Got my mini fridge just here.
Are you paying for that stuff in the mini fridge, or is that
put my own stuff in it?
Oh, there we go. Typical Brit.
Saying that, the amount of people walking across the Brooklyn Bridge earlier that I heard with British accents kind of annoyed me. I wanted to be special.
I just want to do a little segue as you're talking about other Brits. Lucas, are you there? Oh no! Well, it clearly is not there. Was it something I said, Lucas? Or
we'll bring him back in. We'll bring him back in.
We'll bring him back. Oh, he's gone. There we go. When he's back, he's back. Yeah, but yeah. So we were saying. So you've gone for Bianca Belair, yeah?
Hold on one sec. Just before I tell you that, it's interesting. Let's keep that there for a second, because we're on obviously in a hotel. There's YouTube. And obviously no one signed in. It's interesting to see what people search for, the previous people that stayed here. So I'm going to tell you what they were in order of the oldest. Land Before Time, Bill Maher, HBO, Minecraft, Philapathy, VJ Beast trailer, Arizona Coyotes, Anaheim Ducks, Colin Kaepernick Workout, Will Smith, Tony Rock, Red Hot Chili Peppers Jimmy, ... maybe Fallon, Miami Dolphins trade Devont something, Doctor Strange Multiverse of So yeah, interesting seeing what the other people that stayed in this room have watched.
Can I make a suggestion for the person that stays in that room next?
Yeah.
If there's something you want to check out on YouTube, it's RN Pro Wrestling.
Maybe I'll search the channel. Maybe I'll subscribe.
I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie, man. I went. I was in Stratford earlier, and I was in the Apple shop, and maybe my account is on one of their laptops. The podcast is now on there. And the Talk and Beans one has appeared on. Has got a cheeky little follow from one of their iTunes.
Nice, nice.
You know, he's got
doing the good work out there, mate.
Hey! Not all heroes wear capes. We wear masks.
Okay, right. Well, we got the pre-shows coming on now. Everyone in the comments, please. Watching live, give us your comments. Let us know what you think is going to happen tonight, what you're looking forward to seeing, what you thought of this show so far. Obviously, Rob holding down the fort. We're going to have Lucas on in a little bit of time as well, in 5 minutes. So, it's hold on, we're loading. Is it just slow? It's a bit slow. Okay. Guess we are. We're straining the public Wi-Fi here at the hotel. So, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. So go on.
So I want to know what your ritual for watching PLEs now, should we say? So basically main event shows and stuff like that is you will cook food before we do a or after we've done a prediction or build up show. So what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna get room service? What's going on?
Well, I might order a pizza.
Oh,
so
okay.
And what I'm thinking, just a little behind the scenes.
Go on.
See, they've got like delivery services, different ones to what we've got in the UK. So I'm hoping I can get a little sign up bonus, a little discount.
Oh, look at you cheeky devil!
All worked out, man. All worked out. I can show you what I've eaten today so far.
Go on.
I went to the Timeout food market in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm burping. I'll show you a picture on there. And I had this bad boy burger. Look at that.
Oi, look at that. Oi, can we do not food trumps? Because that looked absolutely delicious. And I'm annoyed that you can't bring me one back.
Right.
But I went somewhere in London today. I do want to take you and DR Pro Wrestling up there.
Yeah.
But your boy got a pancake. Look at the size of this whopper.
Whoa! Where was that,
mate? That's is in my old Dutch in London.
I've seen. I don't think I've been there. I haven't been there, but I've seen the logo somewhere. Maybe I walked past it.
Man, it was wham! Like I was so full.
Whereabouts? Stratford.
No. So this was we got off at near Mile End and then went up there. What's it called? Is it Drury Lane? I think something like that.
No, it's nowhere near there.
Not there. Where did we go? There's two. There's one there, and it might be. I don't know. To be fair, I organised the next stuff, which we went like golf and stuff. Someone else. It was someone's birthday.
Junkyard golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Brick Lane.
Yeah, I love a bit of junkyard.
You were near there at least, so.
But man, it was huge. Like, and I was like, I was going to get food after, and I was like, no, I'm full, man.
See, I only had the one burger because I was like, well, I wasn't going to have two burgers, but what I mean is I didn't get no chips. I thought I'm having pizza, and I still can't think about pizza properly. Let's go through some of these comments again. Will Rally Sport Rally. If Becky cuts Bianca long braid, I'm not going to be happy. It's part of her. Is WWE probably cut it off, and I didn't know it's not real hair. Did not know that. Wonder what matches to make the kickoff. Yeah, so we'll see the kickoff in a minute. Is that where they're going with this then, Rob? Because again, I told you I haven't been watching Raw and SmackDown. So is this what they're doing? Are they hinting her hair might be cut?
So I mean,
powers come from her hair, don't they? So
I mean, Becky got her hair cut. I think the way it all started was so Becky got lashed with Bianca Belair's hair. And obviously the welts and all that appeared. And we got it was quite a good image, I guess. Especially for the Instagram and WWE's stuff, Then they done this whole angle, and then Becky got her hair cut. So I can see it building to, something happening. I mean, Bianca's been doing this stuff with her hair for a long time now. So at some point, something's got to happen. There's got to be a bit of give.
It's a big step if they do cut it off, like you think merchandising wise and stuff like that, and maybe that's what they decided to do. It's a big part of the character, But it is. Before, she just naturally wants a haircut as well, and so be it. But why not use the storyline? We've seen it over the years a lot. Right, it looks like we got Lucas ready to come in as well. There we go. Are you all right?
There you are, you handsome devil.
Hey. An extra guest for Lucas as well there.
Yeah.
Okay, right. How you doing, man?
All good.
You excited?
Yeah, to be fair, like we've watched a bit of Super Card of Honor just now. We're watching.
How was that?
We just watched the Briscoes tag. To be fair, Briscoes FTR tag. Insane, like really good tag match, I think.
Yeah.
What do you call it? We the NXT, like it's such a content weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. Like I have no idea what happened, and I'll probably never watch it, to be fair. But it's a shame because I used to love watching those shows. But is what it is. I'm sure they'll put up a good match, or we've already done it. But as in Braun and Ziggler, been interesting seeing Ziggler in NXT. I got to say,
the results. I'm guessing.
No, I have no idea.
Oh, Dolph Ziggler defeated Braun Breaker.
Wow.
That was a big shock of the night, really. I think.
Oh, so maybe you're right. Maybe he is going to be a surprise instead.
He could be the surprise instead of Cody.
Yeah, I guess you've already what match have we discussed already then? When you watched bits of what you said.
So me and Dan, obviously, as you know, we've gone for our predictions. So I've got them, and so far The only prediction that Scott's done is the Bianca Belair and
yeah.
Becky
So
match.
what's yours, Lucas?
So in terms of Bianca Belair match, I've gone for Becky retention. Yeah, I've gone for Becky retention. I think it might be a bit too default. I'm just bouncing it back to her so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because they did that weird Mania, what was it 36, wasn't it, when Becky's retained anyway as well, and they have just shown they are okay, having some championships not change hands, because obviously even on the NXT earlier, Mandy Rose retained the NXT Women's Championship as well.
Okay.
So yeah, not all belts can change, I guess, or have to change, I guess. But it is like when we spoke at the Chamber, like it was just. It's not really the program I would have wanted for Mania, because it's been ran back obviously at SummerSlam. We saw it obviously live, and it was fantastic. Obviously,
yeah, but even that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
But they were doing it on the house shows for ages. It's been pretty much this match for like 6 months, that division.
Exactly, it's a Mania worthy match, but really been drug out. Yeah. Quickly. Comment here as well. Let me quickly get to it. Where did it go? Question and thoughts on, and I had no idea about this. Thoughts on Samoa Joe being all elite and appearing at RH last night. Did that happen?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
I've missed so much.
So what happens when you leave the country?
Yeah. So what was that all about? What did he do?
Oh, just an appearance.
Did he attack anyone?
He just informed the crowd that he was signing. He was signing for AEW.
Oh my goodness, that's quite exciting.
Huge pop.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, that's good. Oh, see, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of this stuff. I ain't got bloody time.
You should be watching it anyway.
Unbelievable. Out here. All right, I'll find it. I'll track it down. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. The question was like, what do we all think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, obviously, Joe. Joe's a household name, isn't he? And like, he has to land somewhere big as well. You know, it's still kind of baffling how the crowd was the fan base, particularly WWE fan base, were clamoring for him to come back and just him to go again.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah.
But
really
nice
weird
to see him
run.
Nice to see him and to keep going. He's got so much to give still. So much to give.
And he can always transition to the stuff he was doing, like the commentary, and I'm sure he'll be doing a bit of training and stuff like that. But there's still a lot for him to, like you say, to do in the ring as well. So yeah, that's good news. I'm glad. I'm glad, even though I missed it completely. I'm glad to find out about that.
Yeah, it's more of a thing we heard about, especially I heard about this morning. But me and Lucas was definitely content to watch the FTR Briscoes match.
Yeah,
kind of only as we built a Mania now. And but like I said, I fully recommend watching FTR and Briscoes.
Oh, that match, yeah.
And a little angle at the end there with the Bucks.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Especially outside of, obviously we've discussed before, like WWE doesn't seem to care too much about tag teams, but everywhere else do care, don't they?
Yeah.
And it won for the ages, wasn't it? Really, Briscoes and FTR. One for the ages. Went about nearly half hour.
Okay, wicked. Yeah, I'll definitely have to set that out then. Yeah. We got another comment here as well. Once again, Will Rally, Sport Rally. Pop massively when he came out at the end of RH. So good. His post-media RH was great in character. Badass Mojo in character. Did you see it? Anyone saying he's going to be AEW champ? I mean, so many people that could be AEW champ. That's the only issue they've got at the moment, is trying to fit.
They've overloaded their roster, really.
Exactly, but you can't blame them. Why would you not pick up these guys? It's crazy to not do it. FTR, Briscoes, best tag teams and 2 tag teams in the world. And all wrestling company. Do you agree? I think they're both fantastic teams. I think up there is the Usos, and a few years ago when I did interview the Briscoes, they called out the Usos. You might have seen it, kicked up a bit of a storm online at the time, but on the main Rebellious Noise channel. And yeah, I still want to see that match, the Usos and the Briscoes, but it doesn't seem as likely. We got this Forbidden Door stuff going on elsewhere, which is great when we're seeing matchups like this. But yeah, I have to agree. He's a great
team. Again, this is something we've discussed. Like, in my mind, anyway, I believe the Briscoes are probably the best tag team that's never been signed to WWE. I'd say, and it's just I find it baffling. I find it baffling how no one's picked them up to the point where they still work in the chicken farm, I believe.
Because they do a lot of their promos from there, don't they?
I find it baffling how like a pure tag team that can be so good that they don't get signed by by a major TV company. They got I think their look is fantastic with being with their whole redneck little thing they do. Yeah, little acts they do. I think it's fantastic. It's just I find it a major shame they've they've not been utilised, But...
Yeah, because you could have seen them being in that kind of when NXT was cool, when it was the super indie about 3 years ago. I could have pictured them there then. Maybe not such proper WWE run heading on to WrestleMania because I don't think WWE would be touching them. But
didn't WWE try what tag team was it? Eddie Edwards and
Wolves? Yeah.
Didn't they tried them and it didn't really. Yeah, it was at the time that weird point, wasn't it? Though before NXT became obviously NXT we know and love now, but when it's still like the old kind of original kind of NXT when it first like
it was still developmental.
Yeah. And I just get a feeling that because they were like you'd argue they were like a real indie tag team, weren't they? I mean, think of indie tag teams like the Wolves were that kind of answer to obviously whatever the WWE had at the top at the time, and I guess. The Briscoes are almost like the same kind of thing. I think. The thing is, it's happened so. Like in the territory days, there were several people who never went one way or the other. And obviously, last night, Hall of Fame, like Taker never went to WCW. Sting never went to WWE until obviously he did, like 10 years later, or whatever it was. There are just some people in every generation who just won't do the thing you want them to do, essentially. Because it just doesn't work out. But yeah, incredible tag match last night, and incredible. Just it's so nice because obviously we've had 2 WrestleManias in the dark, on the most part. Obviously, we got a bit of hope last year. With obviously limited attendance, obviously with some COVID measures, obviously they have to be lifted. Obviously, last year, but obviously 36 that weekend, and compared to obviously, but this is just like night and day, isn't it? Like in terms of the amount of stuff that's happening, Supercard of Honor, obviously AW's running, and you've got like so much going on. Like it feels like it's back, isn't it? Like it's big, huge. Like tonight is absolutely stacked with so many matches, obviously. And it's only one night, it's only half of it.
Has anyone seen the stage? I saw briefly this morning. It looked like is it just a big logo and they're coming out by the logo? Is that what it
looks huge?
Yeah, it's like they're coming out between like where the star is, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a big star. Yeah. Okay, that looks all right. Quickly get to comment before we move on to another match here. Again, about the Briscoes, had 2 matches last night, FTR and RH, and then ran down the road to Impact to lose to Good Brothers Impact Multiverse of Matches Special. I didn't even know that either. So that's.
I was aware of that, but I didn't realize the result of that. But it seems like because of there's so many platforms, and you can just sit there and they're happy, and obviously all these companies are happy to work with each other now.
Yeah, and they're all close together at the same time as well, and so
everyone's jumped on that because I mean we're talking 10 years ago now, but always Ring of Honor always piggybacked on the WrestleMania weekend, but now everyone is now, and then because they're all there, all in the same location, and as long as you just book the shows one after the other, they will do one, hop into the next one, next one still, it seems.
Well, I guess now NXT's opened that door, where obviously benefit it wasn't like a massive, it wasn't the biggest draw today. People did manage to watch NXT earlier, but it has shown that there is enough wrestling fans there.
Where was it run? How many people were in it? Because I know NXT 2.0 is quite small now, isn't it? So
is it attendance for the NXT thing?
Yeah.
It was my understanding it was about 5,000.
Okay.
But everyone was hard cam side, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and they weirdly put so where the hard cam faces the ring, everyone's behind that side of the ring. If that makes sense. And there was no one behind the commentators.
Yeah, and the tops weren't filled as well.
Right.
Yeah, the tops was empty as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it was midday Dallas time though.
And
that's so strange.
It's that combination though. Like obviously NXT throughout the pandemic has just gone through the biggest change of any kind of thing you could imagine, really. And it is just we're at the stage now where it just isn't big enough. I mean, current form. Obviously, the other one, Ciampa. Obviously, he looks to have made his last appearance in NXT. Triple H joined him on stage after after he lost to Tony D'Angelo. There we are. That's Amore. You know, yeah, he lost to Tony D'Angelo in quite a solid match, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's very apparent that he's now leaving NXT. So, like, the NXT now is completely removed from anything people.
Black and gold.
Yeah, black and gold's finished. It's rainbow color. NXT, you know, all the way. And you know, it's just they're not going to sell as many tickets. Like, obviously, you know, before when you had you know, the NXT Takeover London, when we had obviously Balor and Joe main event, like that was huge. Yeah, you know, you had huge names who had already wrestled in Japan, wrestled in Impact, wrestled, you know, all over the United Kingdom and Europe, and so it made sense that they would obviously build up to sell out, obviously, you know, do well at venues like Wembley Arena, but like, you're not going to get that, you know, with people, sadly, like who they had today. But it will be some food for thought, though, because obviously with a smaller venue, it just shows, you know, there are 5,000 wrestling fans, you know, potentially, who want to go out and watch something at midday.
It's like they used to do a lot of shows at Access like that as well, like sort of like house shows at Access and things like that. Yeah. So I guess it kind of fits in that mold. They probably just took the spot that was before, but really, really strange. Since we're talking original NXT, 2.0, which is now considered best time to talk about this, of course. Ciampa himself, when he was NXT champion in NXT 2.0, and we were talking all about the changes and things like that. Very interesting to look back on now that, again, he has seemingly had his last match in NXT. Another quick comment here, NXT, before we move on to the more predicting again. Mandy Rose from tagging with Dana Brooke and falling down many ramp. To NXT Women's Champion, done great. Expected better for her career. Yeah, I think she's really turned her kind of fortunes around. It's done really well. So, right, let's move into the next match. Rob, you stuffing your face there. What you eating?
I'm not going to name. I'm not going to name them, but it's chocolate.
Okay, all right. What kind of chocolate?
Little bites. I can't tell you without showing you the packet.
Don't do it.
The brand is a purple.
I'm covering my beer as well.
It's a purple brand.
All right, that's too far.
I'll not leave it there.
What match are we doing next?
Am I the MC for this?
Yeah, come on. I don't know. I missed a bit with you and Dan, so you're gonna have to fill us in.
All right, cool. Right, well, next match I got up, lads, is Mysterios versus Logan Paul and the Miz. So I think they need a name. They do need like a tag team name for Low Miz. I think I like that.
Low Miz.
Oh.
No Miserable.
Yeah, all right. We'll think about that. If people in the comments got an idea what that should be, let us know as well. So what have we got prediction wise then? What's been done already? You and Dan, Rob?
Yeah, me and Dan. Do you like to know who they are?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so Dan has gone with Miz and Logan Paul, and so have I.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
But I have a reasoning behind mine. Would you like me to say?
Sure.
Yeah. So I reckon this could maybe be the start of the feud between father and son, and it's a way to build them up. Because I mean, if they win, they've already won the tag champs. They've already done that moment.
They've been
what's next?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what's next?
Point, I think.
Exactly. So I think if there's ever a time to do it, it's at Mania.
Yeah, turn on your dad at Mania.
Woo! Hey. It's not Dominik that's going to turn. I think it's going to be Ray.
Ray? No, Ray can't. He's never been here in WWE, can he? He's never been in WWE.
There's always time for change, man.
Even if he does, like, no, okay, this is why I think Ray can't do it. Not only because he's always been a babyface, right? But also because if a father just hits a son, you'll go, it's son's backhander. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, son? You idiot. You know, like, it'll seem like that. But then maybe that's how you get sympathy. You know, an older father should know better, and he's beating up his innocent son. And you could do it. But I think it works better if, ironically, the bigger guy, is the son, beats up his dad.
Yeah.
Surely the kid,
I don't know.
The son thinks he knows better.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's surely got to be that.
I don't know. I think it's just on a different spin, isn't it? Because you can have that stuff. And I mean, especially if they bring back like the Ray and Eddie and father, who was the father, and all that, because it's a good way to bring that kind of not the storyline back, but that he put
He's
him through
got to
that.
bring up the ladder match with Eddie.
Yeah.
You
That's what I mean.
ladder match. I will not forgive you for that.
So yeah, I just think it's something that could happen. And I mean, let's face it, if they win, what else can they physically do? Like,
It doesn't.
That's it. Like, they've gone as far as they can go as a tag team, as father and son. So, what's the next best thing?
Okay.
Of course. Well, in wrestling world, anyway.
Father and son of this match.
If he turns and actually discontinues using Mysterio as a last name.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna go by Dominik.
Just
Dominik.
Yeah, and he can even do it as a catchphrase. It's just Dom, like just Joe back in the day.
Seeing as they're discontinuing like surnames, it's all one name.
True, yeah.
Not even Dominik. It's Dom.
Yeah,
just
one syllable. And that brings a year down the line where he decides he wants to honor his father again. He wears the mask and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean,
I believe the idea is he wants to go under a mask and go by Prince Mysterio, doesn't he?
Okay.
That's what I've seen that on Twitter.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
There's an interview that he has done where he said that is actually what's going to happen, other side of the rainbow, so to speak. But because the idea is obviously Rey Mysterio translated means mystery king. Well, who's the son of the king? It's a prince. So that's where Prince Mysterio comes from.
Yeah.
Well, then surely couldn't this also be a way if they, because my prediction, I'll just say it now, is that Mysterios will win. They win this, and that will be when Rey finally feels that he's earned the mask. They could do a proper ceremony on Raw.
Could be a nice thing.
Obviously, they become the Mysterios at a time. But again, they're never really called the Mysterios either, are they? It's always Dominik and Rey. They're never really called together.
Is it for a title? It's not for a title. Oh no, of course it's not. It's Miz and thing, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I think Mysterios will win. I think it's one of those like celebrity matches where it's fairly. I feel it's fairly obvious where it will go. So I'll go for the Mysterios to win. I think.
Last year, Logan Paul left not looking great though, as in as a storyline wise, he got beat up. So surely this time he wants to look strong. That's what I'm thinking. So that's what's making me think maybe Logan Paul and The Miz will win.
He's also staying around, isn't he, in a backstage role?
Who, Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I mean, last year he got stunned, and I know people got their things about Logan Paul. Go back and watch our review from last year, but I think he executed his role quite well last year, and he is a big draw. It makes sense. He will bring in fresh eyes. So, you can, as much as people might not like him, I think he's done quite well. So him winning, I wouldn't kind of put out as too much of a kind of unbelievable thing. So I'm actually going to go with Logan Paul and The Miz to win.
Oh, okay.
Right. I also said, not that it's a prediction, but I mean, Bad Bunny was a fantastic performer with Damian Priest. And I said, look, Logan Paul's done boxing. We know he can box. He's got an amateur wrestling background.
He's done amateur wrestling, isn't he?
Yeah. So do we think Logan Paul could be one of the best people as a celebrity to actually be in a wrestling ring?
The bar is high, isn't it?
Stephen Amell.
Pat McAfee as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, we don't say Gronk.
Obviously the bar is high now. Obviously Mayweather was fantastic.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny was probably the best all rounder for pure pro wrestling in terms of doing a bit of blend of everything.
Stephen Amell was very good because he actually really wanted to learn to wrestle, didn't he? It's for a while, and he had a couple of matches. But it'd be interesting.
Go on. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just making a point that because Logan's been so good at adapting so many different disciplines now, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say we're expecting something special out of him, but I would definitely say I'm pretty sure he'll hang right in there. At least.
Yeah, it'll be even if he's not the best or whatever, because it is like I said, it's a high bar now. He'll be in. I think he'll be in the upper half of WrestleMania. Outside.
He's young enough. He's got the experience.
Exactly.
I think obviously if you date back to the thing is as well, there'll be a lot of people saying, "Oh, why are celebrities getting spots over people on the full-time roster?" Miz had a tag team partner who's released. Blah blah. While that does exist in this conversation, it's very much celebrities have always been a big part of WWE's success and of WrestleMania's success. Look at WrestleMania 1, it was built around that tag match with T, who was the biggest TV star basically in the world at the time. who was in the main event of WrestleMania 1. You know, you had, you know, several WrestleMania appearances from baseball stars. You had the whole WrestleMania 2 thing was the whole. I think they've had to edit it heavily on the network, but is the NFL versus WWF, but you know, Battle Royal. You know, with several NFL stars in there. You know, had obviously Lawrence Taylor main evented. WrestleMania 11. You know, so it's always been a case. You know, that they've been involved, but I think now they are carefully plucking them a bit more. Obviously, someone like Bad Bunny, again, that's obviously everyone here really. It's not something we know, I guess, or we heard of, or we listen to, or whatever. But definitely to the younger fan and the kind of, you know, the modern day Instagram, TikTok generation, like they're huge. And Logan
We're showing
Paul,
our age there, Lucas.
I told you, I quite like that Booker T song. I got to say, that was a good song.
Is it on your playlist? That's the question.
It's not, but I might.
I rest my case.
Do you know what playlist is? Are we still on a? Well, I've got a cassette player over here, so you know, I'm not updated yet.
All right, let's get to a few more comments here quickly from Already Sports. So we got I think Miz Logan winning and Dom turning on Ray, as we just talked about, in a Ray versus Dom match. Maybe at SummerSlam you could see that, or Dom Ray winning a father-son tag team. Yeah. To win at father-son tag team to win at Romania as well. And then we've got there should be a Razor Ramon IC ladder match at Mania every year. Do you agree to honor Scott Hall? I think that's a great idea actually. But they've already started bumping off the Andre the Giant Memorial match, so maybe
this is where you've got to be careful. Obviously, it'll always come across as you know, it will peak off, unfortunately. But I think like maybe Mania 40 would be a very good idea. It would be the 30th anniversary from the Shawn Michaels one.
Okay, yeah.
That would be a good idea.
It's not far away, is it?
Ladder match for that as a one-off, just to see first. But
just the one.
The Memorial every annual thing, I just don't like. It'd be hard to watch it peak off when the guy that's memorizing, you know, was you know had such a big impact on the business. You don't want to see it. Like the Andre one again. It's not exactly what it was, you know. Sometimes you know it could be more. Has it?
Yeah. So it's a tough one, and I think they'd be confined to. You need to do it like they kind of already shoved off the Money in the Bank, and I love Money in the Bank being on it, and then it ended up being just multi-man ladder matches and stuff like that. And even that they've kind of got rid of. So. So I think the commitment is probably something they're not really looking for. Similar kind of thing here with Warrior Award should be called the Shad Gaspard Warrior Award. I think that's a nice idea actually, because you're still keeping the Warrior thing within it, which is the idea in the first place.
But then how much longer are we going to make this title now?
Exactly. So so someone else gets that. Who knows? But hey, got to say, what a deserving recipient, of course.
Absolutely.
As soon as that happened, I think all of us were like, he needs to get that award. So it's fantastic to see it. And again, I say to see it. I haven't even watched it yet. I can't.
I watched
can't wait to watch that.
I know Paul me to tears
as well. That stuck out to me as when he had his Hall of Fame speech and actually explained his life outside of, which is why he does so little TV time. It's one of those where look, these people, like, you know, they you know, sometimes you look and go, they need it, like they more than deserve it. They've been fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing is, the award still wasn't really what Warrior wanted, though, was it? Like, he obviously wanted it more to recognise people that work backstage and something Andre actually highlighted in his speech. Which you'll probably watch at some point in 2025. That's stuff we're telling you to watch. But yeah, Simon Taker obviously said in his speech, really good speech by the way, about 45 minutes long though. But he did obviously touch upon some of the backstage people. Okay. And you know, people that have helped him obviously with his costumes, with obviously music, with with everything basically. And it is getting to that point now where I think, it could be worth kind of putting these people in some sort of spotlight, because everything we see on television is because of these people in the day. Yeah. Like they're a big part of the operation. I think, to ignore them from the Hall of Fame, like, there's employees in WWE that I think have been there for like 30, 40 years, seamstresses, people working catering, people that refs, referees, etc., production staff.
Even if it was a quick segment where they did about 5 a year, like how they do the Legacy. Is it the Legacy Award, where they're like people that weren't WWE but they're from like 1920, so we have to. You got to acknowledge what they've done. I really like that award. I like that segment. I think it's a really good thing they do, because it's unrealistic for some of these people to go into WWE Hall of Fame, but at the same time, they also deserve some sort of honor.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I don't expect there to be like a half-an-hour segment dedicated to like here's Gene the cleaner.
Yeah. This is how they sew their costumes and stuff like that.
But
it wouldn't make the best TV.
Maybe not have an induction ceremony, but definitely a segment, just to highlight the names that we don't know and don't
exactly.
See. Yeah, like how the Oscars are the in memoriam thing, and obviously they do focus heavily on actors and actors who obviously were bigger names, let's say, of their day. So obviously this year they featured Betty White quite heavily because obviously she's a massive star. But obviously, it gets down to when they mention like set designers and people who are maybe production assistants, but they still literally get 5 seconds of the Oscars with their names on screen, essentially.
Yeah.
That's basically all I think some of these people need. And like, because there's so many people, I guess, that they could fit into this category. They've worked there for years and years. But yeah, I don't think it should be renamed though. Well, I think when you do stuff like that, it just becomes that risk of like, in 5 years' time, when someone else has something big, do we rename it again? Do we keep renaming it and keep renaming it?
Yeah.
I think it exists because it's something the Ultimate Warrior wanted to exist. And obviously they have changed it, don't get me wrong, they have changed it into obviously this kind of charity / Good Samaritan Act kind of thing now, but it's still going to just embody that spirit that I think the Ultimate Warrior would want. And obviously with Dana Warrior obviously still kind of being employed and that kind of being her one job of the year, I think let's just keep it as the Warrior one at least for now.
Okay, we'll quickly get to a few more comments and we'll move on to another one. So we've got Bad Bunny was amazing at Mania, as we just spoke about. Pat McAfee will surprise people tomorrow. He's been training and got his own ring. His match with Adam Cole was really good. Pat can go in a ring. 100% agree. We've also got, did you see Vince the other day sent a message to Pat McAfee? He was lifting weights at 74. Wow. Then said Austin Theory going to kick your ass at Mania. Obviously that match is on tomorrow. Looking for it. Definitely join us tomorrow for all of our kind of content over the next couple of days. The build-up shows, the recap and review and things like that. But what we've got, we've got a few comments. We'll try and get to them as quick as we can as well. But let's get back on to talking about these matches coming up tonight. So what we got next?
Just to confirm, Scott, you said it was Miz and Logan, yeah?
Yes, Miz and Logan.
I just want to make sure.
Well, Miz and Rables, that was it, wasn't it?
Les Miz, yeah.
Les Miserables, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I've got the, I don't want to rob you of a point, man.
Thank you. Consider it. I need to bloody catch up. So
yeah, you do. You're going to get the wooden spoon award. Next match we've got is this one, Drew McIntyre.
The big one.
Drew versus Happy Corbin. Do you want to know who's picked who and whatnot? Because
I guess this time again, it's a bit unfair that I know all the time in advance. So I'll just this time I'll go straight in. Drew McIntyre is gonna win, and I think he might kick out of End of Days. I'm not gonna bonus point it. Don't worry. But actually, it's the last thing of the year, so maybe I should because I need to bloody catch up. Yeah, I'm going to bonus point it. He's going to kick out of End Days. And he's going to
basically just playing to Barrett and everyone. Like, if you lose get that wrong, you lose a point, don't you?
Yeah, so I lose a point.
Lose a point. Yeah. Essentially, you're saying.
So I could go -1 with that. Oh, but it's all in, man. It's all in. This, I've got to catch up.
Wrong show, mate.
All right, wrong show. Wrong. All out then. Oops, wrong one.
There we go. Wrong one.
The most protected move there is at the moment.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
No.
No.
So me and Dan were talking about this before you guys are on, and I was actually talking to a Will Rally Sport Rally about it before you come on. And I said, look, two of the most protected moves at the moment, two moves that Baron Corbin does are really heavily protected. Obviously, we've got End of Days, which hasn't been kicked out of, and Deep Six, obviously, which has. Deep Six is a beautiful move. I'd love to see. I love seeing it. But End of Days, I think it's one of those things. I think it's too soon to have someone kick out of it. Kind of. I don't want to say compare it to the Undertaker's Mania streak. It obviously got to come to an end. Someone will eventually kick out of it, but I think it's got to be someone. It's going to be so unexpected. I think it's too obvious for someone like Drew to do it. It's got to be someone that we least expect.
We've quickly said least expect. Look who's joined us apparently Tony Khan. I'm not sure it's the real Tony Khan, but then my bold prediction is Cody Rhodes debuted at night 2 in the Ring of Reigns after he tap out Brock Lesnar. Oh, who knows? Maybe they are. I'm not sure. If that's really Tony Khan, I guess that's a spoiler because he's, probably still quite close to Cody. But thanks for joining us.
Knows he does, right?
But yeah, screw it, man. I've already locked in my bonus point. It is what it is. Let's go.
Do you want to know who everyone else said?
Go on, yeah.
Oh, we all said Drew. That was me.
Okay. Did you say Drew as well?
Yeah, I said Drew.
Simple payoff, right? Mania.
Yeah. That's why I feel like Drew's going to get, because I feel like that kick out, because I think he's gone from title match and all that to
Brock and Bobby was his last 2 Mania matches. Now it's Happy Corbin.
Yeah, but I feel like Drew's going to be one of those guys, going to be not exactly like Corbin's super young and fresh, but like I feel like Drew would be one of those like, and again, he's not exactly passing the torch because he's only had his big moment in the past few years himself. Although he's been around for a long time, it's only this second spell that's kind of been as big.
Most of our fans as well, no?
Yeah. So who knows? Whatever, man. I've locked it in. Let's go. Next match.
Let's go. All right. So next, we have Usos versus Shinsuke versus Boogs.
With Boogs, not versus Boogs.
Oh, with Boogs. Are you going?
Try go first then.
Yeah, go on.
Shin Boogs. Boogski. The Boogie Boys. The Boogie Boys. So, yeah, this is one of those where you just kind of look back at the number of people that they've let go that were in tag teams over the past few years. And obviously see how we touched upon FTR early on. I'm talking about obviously their success, obviously, with AEW and Ring of Honor. And you just go, how did this happen? And then we end up at WrestleMania and we end up with just like 2 random people. Like, I mean, I guess like they have been like associated, but they never really presented as a team. It's always kind of been that Boogs is more just with Nakamura. Yeah. I don't see this being a title change. I don't watch the product weekly, so I'm not too sure. Do they even actually ever do Viking Raiders against Usos? Like on TV or anything, Rob? Do you know? Remember at the Saudi show, obviously they didn't start the match. So to use But
I actually don't remember. I don't recall. If someone in the comments, War Rally Sport Rally,
did that match happen? Yeah.
You seem to watch so much wrestling. You know,
they just decides that there'll be no payoff.
Yeah.
Just don't get
no surprise there, to be fair.
I mean, let's put it this way: if it was for a championship, they definitely didn't win because the Usos are still champions.
Yeah.
So tonight, maybe.
Well, I'll go next. Then I do think the same. They'll still be champions at the end of the night. Losing them won't be again. A lot of this depends on Roman. What's going on with Roman? You don't want to do it at the same time, or kind of like it needs to. If Usos lose it, you need to go into a whole Roman being disappointed with them type stuff. And Roman's got his own thing going on. It's a big storyline that we really go down that road just yet. So yeah, I don't think. And if any team's going to do it, I don't think it's them. But then at the same time, I can also see this being a Mania moment highlight clip because they're likable. Both Boogs and Shinsuke are very fun. They are likable. So, and even seeing them live like a few months ago, like the fans liked it. So it's not what I want Nakamura to be doing. But I'm happy for Boogs and I'm happy Nakamura is doing something and getting some sort of like attention. So, but yeah, for me, it doesn't make sense. I think it should be the Usos. I think it could be the other two, but I'm going to go with my brain rather than my heart, I guess, and say, yeah, Usos makes the most sense.
All right. So that is, in fact, it's me, you, Scott, and you, Lucas, will go with Usos. The only one that's going with Shin and Boogs is Dan.
Okay.
That should be interesting. Next up, we have TBA or Vacant versus Seth freaking Rollins. So
we've had a long talk about this. Wow.
Okay, so before you do your just drop a little name in, obviously the question is who's vacant. Lucas, I'm not sure if how much you've joined watched what I've been saying. However, I have a bit of a conspiracy, and I think you'll agree with me, you too, Lewis, as well. But for for someone that's in America, the only person that's that is available right now is this man, the King of Drip, Scott. The only reason he's gone to America is for this match, right? But then I gave myself a bit of a fright because I thought
I've got a suit in there.
I bet you have. It's really in a locker room. That's just his area. Basically, my prediction was that basically whoever the TBA is. My prediction was the to be announced person. So and then it dawned on me that I put the TBA person to win. So if the TBA person is Scott, that means Scott's going to get a victory over Seth Rollins, and then that worried me. So I'm not sure
hard,
if I want
I do kind of deserve it.
With his Angela, what is it? Christina Aguilera hat.
Post Mania, right?
You what?
Give you a big old push after Mania, yeah?
Oh, please, yeah. I'm going to come out on Raw, give a nice promo. Can't wait.
But yeah, so in this one is this basically we are picking a person, and then
we're gonna. I guess we're speculating a person, but points don't matter with a person. We just
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so obviously,
but yeah, we're saying like we did before. We were like,
person to win,
yeah, exactly. So no matter who it is,
the options for that. Yeah, you're not lock in obviously who that kind of is, but there's a lot of discussion to be had about that. But in terms of my actual prediction of the match, the to be announced person is going to win, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Are we all kind of in agreement with that? Or
yeah, I was kind of saying earlier that the only way you could go around it is if the person's moment is their return and therefore they don't need to win. But at the same time,
but then it kills it in, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of kills them off. So quick comment here as well. Firstly, on the last one, Nakamura and Boogs split up. We didn't even think about that. It's possible. Going for Cody or Shane or Chad Stevenson, Taker or Braun. You're going for a lot of people there, Will. But yeah, now
maybe the 5-way.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
The other.
But yeah, it's interesting. It could be a lot of people. I think the obvious one I mentioned earlier is Cody, but I do kind of hope they do an AEW kind of thing where they did Daniel Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole, where they kind of like they gave us both. It would be fantastic if Cody showed up and then we went, wait, hold on. So who's Seth facing? Or Seth facing is someone really fantastic that we would even still be like, oh, okay. Fair enough, it's not Cody, but I'm really, really happy. And then we still get Cody, say maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we still do.
I think the issue is, and we've been here so many times with this company, man, is that they have let this build up to the point now where if it's not Cody Rhodes, it is going to be now impossible to get that crowd back on board.
Yeah, unless you get someone big, but I can't think of that name.
There's we were talking about this, at the food. There's only a couple of people I think are exceptions to this. Number one is John Cena,
which is probably a no.
Where I think, in terms of
very unlikely,
but in terms of the pop,
it would,
okay with it.
They'd accept that.
And number two, I think is Bray Wyatt.
I said that too. Yeah,
I think those are the only two people I think they could salvage this.
Yes.
Then there's people who I'm bloody worried about.
Okay, let's hear some of them.
So the first one being Shane McMahon. Because if it's Shane McMahon, that was the original match. Just why go for all this rigmarole, releasing him and then bringing him back? And then...
But did they even fire him? Is that all just the work?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he wasn't fired, was he? He was only ever...
Could be fired for all we know.
Yeah. He's still doing stuff, wasn't he, for the company? But they went through this whole rigmarole publicly of at least kind of getting rid of him, and and to end up back here, it's just like, why? The second one, which I've kind of gone from like really panicking early this morning to like now not panicking as much. I don't think it is. I've been speaking to a few people and they kind of said, "No, you might
calm yourself down, Lucas. It's okay." Is that the way it is? Yeah.
Is Undertaker.
I really
because of that stupid line he decided to put at the end of his Hall of Fame speech where he said never say never.
Did he? Okay, right.
Yeah,
I'll say never.
I'm
saying what you think.
I don't believe you, mate.
Sorry, but we've ranted about this before, haven't we? We all love Taker, but like, come on, that's it now. Unless we're doing, like the match against AJ, unless we're doing stuff like that. Let's not.
Yeah,
and that's
I've said that. We literally said that a couple of hours ago. I mean, that Saudi match with Styles, like, how much can we keep hanging on to this now? The only reason why the Boneyard match worked was because they had several takes and they can rest because
it's a good idea. If they kept doing that, it would be cool. But I don't think they are. And again, this is why we were annoyed Survivor when they did the little kind of retirement thing. Not only was it poorly done, in my opinion, in the first place, and no fans and all that stuff, but and poorly shot, but also because I just don't believe it. Like, he will come up, he will chokeslam someone at a WrestleMania. It might not be a match, it might be like this Austin thing, but like, he will come out. Like, let's not kid ourselves, it's not over, and that's okay. But don't try and fool me that it is a 15-year
contract you just signed.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, so did Brett, and look where he went. So maybe Taker's all elite after all.
Yes.
But I as far as I think who it is, it probably is Cody. But going into my prediction as far as who will win, it'll be the TBA, whoever it is. I think is probably. I think I'm with you on that.
It is very interesting having this spot open, though, isn't it?
It's exciting. And that's all you can ask as a wrestling fan, to be excited about WrestleMania.
You know, so what I was saying is... So I was sorry, Go on, Lucas.
Okay. Yeah, I think the problem is, like, if it's not Cody's, and a couple of people I think I can salvage it, and it just feels like we've been here a few times before. Mainly at Rumbles, let's not be real. It's always at the Rumbles where we're hoping for one thing. And
the thing is again, we've seen this so many times now, like, how many of the fans trolled themselves? Then we're filling our own heads and embedding this idea that it could be this person, and for all we know, it was just never going to be that, in their minds.
But the biggest one with that is Sting, the 2/21/11 was Sting when it was Undertaker, and then you couldn't really be that excited about Undertaker coming back because it was like, because I thought it was Sting, but
yeah, I just think we're at the point now though where the WWE, that they can't play dumb anymore to the fact that the internet exists, especially because they do so well on it.
Yeah, they played up to it as well. And that's when it goes wrong, when they do play up to it and they don't deliver. But I think this time, surely they will deliver. Do you think you'll come out to your theme song? Sorry, do you think you'll come out to the Nightmare one or one of his older ones?
No, I think it has Smoke and Mirrors.
I hope if it's any of his older ones, I hope it's Smoke and Mirrors.
I would imagine, I personally think it will be an original. Something that's not the Nightmare one now, but it'll be to the same kind of
similar kind of
as the one he's got now.
It'd be awkward if he did the whole intro of "There is more than one royal family." That's a really cheesy line anyway. But doing it in the whole point in that line was like, "Don't forget about us, forget about the McMahons." That's the whole point in that line in the intro to the song. He doesn't always use it, I don't think, anyway. But what I would think is interesting is
Dusty, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so what I think would be cool is like the Stardust kind of intro, the first kind of thing, kind of music, and then it just goes into whatever song he's playing next.
You know what? That could be a good swerve, actually.
Yeah.
Have the Stardust.
He's back, but he's Stardust, and then it goes into like the Nightmare song, or whatever a new one is,
like the whole list of the gimmicks, and then it's now I'm a serious.
Exactly. Could do a little promo
seriously now.
Smoke and Mirrors can play for like 3 seconds. It's just a whirl, could go over the top, and they could kind of little remix. And then, this is the problem. We've done it again, guys. We've worked ourselves up into something that's not going to happen. And now we're going to be disappointed.
And it's Braun Breaker.
He's another name floating around just because, obviously, again, he lost on NXT, Stand Deliver earlier, which was a bit of a shock. Like, I think, we were shocked here when it happened. We just thought it was a deep. They built the show, it felt like, around that moment.
Yeah.
Around obviously him defeating Dolph. Felt very much that Dolph would just go back to doing whatever he was doing on the main roster previously. But now it seems obviously he was sticking around on NXT for at least, I guess, till he loses that belt, I guess. Which most likely, I guess, would be at the next NXT. It's not called TakeOver anymore, so I don't know what to call it.
PLE, I guess. It's another PLE,
But yeah, people. I don't know. I don't really think that holds much weight. I think it's very difficult. I think it has to be someone who's already been in the WWE. Like, I'm talking main roster. I think, because obviously that was difficult. I think we had, but we spoke about the Rumble predictions. We spoke about the men's Rumble in particular. We spoke about would it be Moose coming in? Because obviously he was the champion for the men, while Mickey James was the women's champion.
Yeah.
But it's just like the WWE audience just aren't going to know it. Like looking at the people you're seeing on the screen now in the pre-show. Which decided for some reason to be 2 hours long. Like those people are just like WWE fans, like the kids and the families and stuff. Like I can't imagine them caring about a Moose, like because they don't watch it. Like it's not known.
Just seeing Kevin Owens beat up a cardboard cutout of Steve Austin at Access, fantastic by the way.
But yeah, I
agree. Yeah.
I think we're like a minute or two behind you, perhaps. And this is fantastic. I think we're actually going to sit.
Yeah.
He actually broke the head off of
Yeah. Now he's spray painting over the WrestleMania sign as well. I want to see more of this. I really hope they do a little recap on the show, like video to see what happens. To kind of build up this feud, because it looks, again, I ain't seen much of it, but it looks like Kevin Owens is doing some fantastic work.
Owens has been doing great stuff. We'll get onto him in a sec.
Sorry, what was you going to say? We cut you for a million times.
That's cool, bro. It's basically what I'd echo what you said, but I think my biggest fear is it isn't Cody. As you said, Lucas, there's only a few people, Bray Wyatt being one of them, and John Cena being another, that could, I think they just come out and everyone just loses their minds, and they're not they're not like, oh, great, here we go. But I think my biggest thing is that they do this whole build up of who this person is. Seth Rollins comes out, maybe cuts a promo, all this build up, and then you get, here comes the money. It will be, oh, dude, it's going to be bad. So I think the person that comes out after Seth has to be someone that the crowd are going to just explode over. Because if they don't, then
there's so many options now, isn't there?
I know there's a lot, like Mania is different. It's traveling fans and stuff like that. When you go to Mania, it's a different atmosphere. So it's the Raw after Mania and stuff like that. So, and it's a smarter audience. But at the same time, like I said, there's a lot of kids we're seeing here at Access. How many of them may not even know who Cody is anyway? So there is that risk. We've got to be real. Cody ain't been around for a long time. So
but I think it's where you have got that core section of fans, haven't you?
Yeah, and when I was a kid, like, I remember Rumble rumors and stuff like that, and people talk about wrestlers I'd never seen, like, at the time, like, properly, like, they might come back.
I think the beauty.
So you kind of pick up on the vibe of everyone else, to be fair. So
I think the beauty of AEW, at least being on national TV and at least it being on free TV in this country, means maybe some people are maybe a bit more privy to Cody than Impact people, I'd say.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, obviously, the place where I work, which is not a wrestling modern crowd, basically. And actually, talking about like just wrestling, and they were saying about like we've heard of AEW, like we see it on ITV. They are actually a few do actually know who Cody is because of his time in WWE. Right. So you might find that actually could work in his favour. Especially as it's still, yes, it's a smaller, smarter audience. I get that, but still, some national TV exposure means maybe not everyone's. People are a bit more clued up to him, I'd imagine.
Right, yeah, gotcha.
I mean, I think as well because, as much as obviously, ratings have become a kind of national kind of joke, I guess, amongst the wrestling community, like for the past couple of years with Raw in particular. You have to remember, Cody was around the company where they were getting 3 to 4 million viewers a week regularly. Yeah. And that was back when that was considered poor. It was the first time Raw. I remember the first time Raw ever dipped below 3 million. And now, they'd be bloody celebrating.
They'd be celebrating 2.5 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he was around the product when it was just teetering off, like it's the massive the massive decline we've seen in the last few years because of streaming and because just disinterest in the product, I guess. So I think there'll be enough people who would remember him to get that kind of thing, that kind of pop. And WrestleMania is an interesting one because you do have to know that there's, as you probably know from being at one, Scott, like there's people who have, there's people who just wouldn't generally go to any other event other than WrestleMania who are there in that building. And the wrestling fans make up a bigger percentage at, this week, as opposed to all the other weeks of the year. So I think Cody will get a sizable pop still. I don't think there are many people head scratching of like, well, who is this?
I think more so at Mania than at Raw, So Raw after Mania is like Mania, but I mean, if he had showed up 2 weeks ago, I think it might have been a bit more of a risk. But and maybe that is
saying that, to be fair, WWE are picking like, they've done basically what I kind of think I was saying for years they should have done. They are just going to the places that A, make them the most money, and B, have the best crowds. Like I remember like years ago, SmackDown in particular was notoriously bad for it, where it would just go to places that, honest to God, like you never heard of, and then the crowd would just give no reaction to anything because like they're not a wrestling crowd, they're not into it. It's there because it's an event.
They're running more wrestling.
They're running more wrestling, and it is just the best fans and the best money is in New York, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Chicago, Texas, and a few other places. So you just run them on repeat,
Georgia, Florida, Texas.
There's no point being in these like Timbuktu towns if you don't need to be. Give them a house show, give them, a little live event tour, and give them, the IC title on as the main event. There's no point bringing your stars like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar to these places because they're not making any money. And so I think the crowds in general, I think are better for it and would know, particularly now with all these, like Heyman was saying, about his contract situation recently, about how obviously he wants to keep it on the down low because, like I said, there's constant discourse now about people's contracts and how much money they're on, how long they signed for, and where they're going, and what they're going to do. Because even this Cody thing, like he hasn't said anything, which I guess obviously he can't because obviously if it is the fact that he's there tonight, the only thing he has tweeted is like AEW stuff as well, like about his figure and anniversaries. It's been really interesting. So he might not be. He might want to break. And Cody has been famous for saying that he wanted to obviously retire from in-ring performing quite young. He feels that his job was to follow in his father's footsteps of obviously giving opportunities to people to wrestle and stuff. So like his role in WWE might not even be in-ring, for we know. It may be an NXT coaching role. Because he has spoken about wanting to retire young, and like he's already. Yeah, even if this was like he's come back and he barely does anything in ring, and then he still does the same thing NXT or something, which would be crazy to think he's gone. But anyway, the whole Cody thing's crazy in the first place. You touched on there. I just wanted to quickly say you said about basically not making big towns or whatever. That just instantly threw me back to the Hulk Hogan impression by Shawn Michaels, where they did a fake Larry King thing. The guy calls up and he goes, "When are you coming to Battle Creek?" And he's like, "That would imply that I've never been to Battle Creek, brother." He's like, "Hogan only makes the big towns." But right, let's move on to the next match. I'm looking at this audience here, man. Well, not the audience, but where the audience is going to sit, and it looks incredible. This stadium, obviously, we saw huge stadium. Man, it looks good. So. These NFL stadiums, they really dwarf Wembley stadiums, don't they? They really do. Yeah, the NFL crowd is, it's on another level compared to what we're used to in the Premier League.
So speaking of things that are being incredible, a match that I believe could be incredible and match of the night is this one, which is the New Day. Yeah, we do. New Day versus Sheamus and Co. As I like to call them, because I refuse to call Pete Dunne Butch.
Hey, isn't that me? Well, you're
the new man, aren't you, Scott?
You are.
Yeah, then I'll have to change my name to something stupid.
Stretch.
Sure. Why not?
Butch and Stretch. That's a dynamic duo, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds good. As long as I get well, I'll debut tonight, obviously against Rollins, as we all know. So there we go. Debuting tonight, and then I'm going to join them lot.
Then join them. Yeah, see, look, the man's booking himself. Right, I'll give you two predictions of who has said that. So Dan has said New Day, and I have also said New Day. Obviously, Lucas knows who he's locked in. I'll let Lucas go after. But Scott, who are you going for?
So it's New Day versus. Have they got a name, this lot?
No, just Ridge, Holland.
Sheamus Ridge, but I just call them Sheamus and Co. Innit?
All right. Is it for a title? No titles.
No title. It's a filler tag, isn't it? Filler match.
I think originally they wanted it to be the triple threat. Obviously now with Big E being out.
Oh right. So is
tag, you mean? But yeah.
Is Pete Butch in the match?
No.
He's a ringside.
All right, I think the New Day then. Yeah. And
well, that was
do it for Big E.
That's exactly what I said. In fairness, Lucas, you want to give your explanation?
Maybe Big E might make a little entrance.
We've actually said
at least.
That'd be mad.
He's at home.
But
it'd be mad.
I reckon he'll come out and do an entrance.
I'd imagine something like that.
He might do the announce.
He could do the announce. Yeah, that'd be a good moment.
They could have even have that pre-recorded. I don't know. It depends on the level, I guess. But either way, the New Day are winning. In my opinion.
Lucas, I've just looked at your shirt actually. What's that? Dolce and Banana.
It is Kingston and Woods now, isn't it?
Yeah, Vince McMahon decided that the New Day is only Big E and Kofi. It's not. Yeah,
all three.
Yeah, all three, or Big E and Kofi. They're
it's Kofi and Xavier. like as if it knew they never existed.
Yeah.
So they're not called the New Day anymore.
No, not as them two. No.
No.
Right.
Okay. It's weird because it's also they have this weird thing as well. I can't remember who I had the discussion with. So their big finisher, the tag team finisher, they called it up, down, down.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's something to midnight or the minutes to midnight or something like that.
No, so the Biggie Kofi one is called the Midnight Hour, right?
Yeah.
Midnight Hour, that's it. And then when Woods does it, it's up, down, down. Like I don't understand why it's the same move with a different name for the same team. It just blows my mind how they do that sort of stuff.
This is the same team that's been given a Freebird rule, so
it's Woods' thing, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. I mean, we've discussed that. Is there anything you want to say, or should we go on to the what we believe will be the main event of wrestling, because we've got a main event ending the show anyway. So finally, we have wrestling wise is Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. What are you saying on that one, Scott?
Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Okay. Is this for a title? Oh, it is, isn't it? She won the Rumble. Ronda Rousey's going to win. Why else does she come back and win the Rumble? So Ronda Rousey's going to win, in my opinion. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure it'll be a fun match, but just shows they should.
It's a weird way to get here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just whatever.
It's kind of weird how she has been this time around compared to the first time round. She seemed ever so happy to be there first time around, and she really doesn't look.
She just don't. She looks uncomfortable, doesn't she?
Really? Okay, I ain't seen much. So okay.
She's as if it's just.
Maybe not there. Maybe it's a bit of a payday. Is it a payday and she goes away? Do you think?
I reckon if she wins, then she'll be how Brock was when he first came back and he won the championship. He'll be away. I mean, the Brock that we've got at the moment, turning up as a cowboy, and man, I'm loving this Brock Lesnar, by the way.
It's
a completely different Brock.
Yeah, I think with Brock, I think he's in a different phase of his life now, isn't he?
Yeah.
We can argue so with Ronda from the last time. She's a mum now.
Yeah,
that's very true.
She's been very public how she always wanted to be a mother, didn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, now she's got that. She wants to. She's always been she wants to be that real next level devoted mum, didn't she?
I think she sees as well, like the company need her more than she needs the company this time round. I think when she was in previously, I guess she got all her fandom kind of thing out of the way. And then I guess she's seeing that, now it is a case of the company needs her more.
Maybe.
I mean, you say that, but I'll be honest, and I know it's a bit controversial, but I didn't miss Ronda one bit. The only person I really missed was Becky, and that was in that pandemic era.
I did enjoy her. I think she's a great start. I think she did well first time round. I just think it ended a bit sour, and her return. I was happy to see her return. Obviously, we've gone through this on Rumble's review, so I won't go into it too much, but. It's just a confusing spot, and I do think this match should have just been held out for. Kind of already seen it with Becky. Charlotte got shoehorned in it back in the day, maybe then therefore Charlotte wins this time because although she got shoehorned in, she didn't win, did she? So maybe it's for Charlotte to win and get the rub over the baddest woman on the planet sort of thing. She is still a big name and a big draw. So for Charlotte, although Charlotte has done it all pretty much, the ESPN highlight package and things like that of Ronda Rousey getting beat by Charlotte will be a big deal for Charlotte's career, outside of WWE as well, and bringing eyes to WWE. Like there's this woman on top of the game who beat Ronda. So that's a possibility as well. And I don't know. I'm kind of talking myself about my own bloody thing now because I do feel like, this could be maybe she's just come back for a program. She loses it and she goes away for a bit and it ain't going to be a proper return. So it's tough. But I guess I've already said mine. So whoops.
You're locking in Ronda, yeah?
Double down, Ronda Rousey's winning it. And
I've already got Lucas's prediction, and Lucas said Ronda. However, someone said Charlotte.
Yes, damn.
That was me.
I'm in good company.
I
said Ronda, didn't I? I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I just don't see Ronda winning. As you said, like she's a mum. I think she wants to spend as much time as she can with a baby.
That comes
so and I understand having a championship that can be away, but they're trying to elevate the women, and having a championship away from the brand is devaluing everything they've been building. So in my opinion, it's a stupid idea and a bad decision if Ronda wins and isn't there full time.
If she doesn't go away.
And she doesn't want to be there full time.
With a title though, would they not just merge them so like they seem to be doing with the men's?
I mean, that's the safest option, but if they're going to merge them, then you need someone who's going to be holding that championship.
She loses it next month to merge it with Charlotte, maybe. And
then I'll accept that. Look, if they do that, I'll accept it. But if it does that and it's a real bad, I mean, we're still trying to wait on a reason as to why that stupid 3-way pinfall that happened at NXT a couple of years ago.
That was a recurring joke for ages. Every single review, and I forgot all about that. Logan Paul's getting an interview, by the way, on the kickoff show, so they're already getting their money's worth.
Jake.
Jake Paul.
Sorry,
it's Jake, not Logan.
Oh, it's Jake. Oh, yeah, of course. Well,
come on, man. Better. Logan's the one that we like.
Of course, even better. Look at this. Oh, mate.
Yeah, Logan's
both sides there. Like
odds on that Logan's going to come out with Prime Energy, and is that going to think? Oh, hey, Scott, why you're over in America doing your business stuff with Seth? Bring me back some Prime Energy if you can get your hands on it.
Oh, I see. I'll see if I get it through customs. If not, I'll do you a little review or something.
Lovely. That's what I want to hear. All right, and then we'll go, I guess, to the main. I want to say main event. But the way we're going to finish
the last segment,
night one.
Roger, welcome to you.
Is
everyone else watching?
Roger.
KO and Stone Cold on the Kevin Owens show. Now, I'll quickly give my 5 pence in, which is I don't like the idea that WrestleMania's ended on a segment. However, I think if we get a beer bath from Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens gets a stunner and rolls out of the ring and sells it like a champion, I don't think I'm going to be too fussed because I'm going to be too happy about seeing that. Yeah. So it's one of those things that, yes, okay, it's a negative that we're going to end on a segment, but the fact that we're getting this moment of Austin being in the ring and dropping a stunner and doing all this sort of stuff, I think it's going to overshadow the fact that it's a segment in the Mania. So I'm kind of not looking forward to it for that reason, but I am looking forward to it to get. I mean, whenever you get a chance to see Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring drop a stunner on someone, hey, we're winning. So, yeah, that was my quick thing on it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should be a main event, but I think it's only called the Kevin Owens show to cover up just in case it doesn't come out the way they want. And Steve Austin has this kind of smeared last match thing. So I think that's his biggest fear, obviously. Because even to be fair, the rumor is that he was like, you know what, I don't want it to be a match. But then he himself in that first promo goes, call it a match, call it what you want, da-da-da. You know what I mean? In character says that. So I think it's going to be close to a match, what we see. And at the end of the day, his music's going to hit, the glass is going to shatter, he's going to come out. What I'm thinking about is whether or not he's going to be in street clothes or he's going to have the vest or he's going to be in a T-shirt and jeans or shorts like he used to wear, which I think makes most sense because I guess it'll be like a street fight. But how does it end? You know, so that's what I'm confused about. And even with this, are we predicting something with it or?
So going by what is on the predictions table, there is no prediction for it because it's technically not a match. We were just discussing it.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to it like you. I don't think it should close the night because of the kind of confusing nature of it. But at the same time, I could definitely see Steve Austin saying, wait, you want me to come back and I'm on fourth? You know, so I kind of get why it seems like that. Maybe they've kind of put themselves into a corner here. They just want to appease, be like, look, you know what? He don't want to call it a match. We're not going to call it a match, but it is what it is, and he's going to do what we're going to do what we can to make him happy. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. If it's a match, of course, Steve Austin should go on last. But then again, you could say, well, wait a minute, there's 2 women's title matches on here, so one of them should go on last. So
I know what you mean. However, Dan made a very good point, and Will Rally Sport Rally also made a point as we were discussing when everyone left me on my own, which was whoever goes on after Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to have a very, very, very hard time kind of finishing on a main event on a high, because after if Austin was second to last, whoever goes after him, they're going to have a really hard time filling that
unless you put it much earlier on potentially.
And I don't think they want to do that. You know, if you're going to have someone like Austin, it's this Roman Reigns booking of what he said before. I'm either first or last. I'm not in the middle. So someone like Austin, hey, first or last. There's no in between, really. And I think as much as we don't want it to be a segment, it makes sense for him to be last, because I don't think he's going to be first. If he's first, this whole build up and it's over and done with, they're going to push and push and push. But yeah, I would say props to Kevin Owens for literally building a whole feud on his own for the last few month or so. Scott, if you haven't tuned in and seen any of the stuff, Owens has been coming out dressed as Stone Cold Steve Austin with a bald cap.
I saw a clip of it, but I haven't watched it properly. Yeah.
Oh, it's been beautiful,
which is great because he's a proper fan as well of that era, and this is someone I would appreciate. Like, I imagine the honor that Owens feels at the moment, even though it's not technically a match, is immense, and it probably is one of the factors that helped him to re-sign. So I'm very happy it is him. He's someone from this generation that fits that very well. It's a similar character. He's been doing the stunner for years anyway, so it kind of writes itself in that sense. And he's great on the mic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever we see. But like I said, as much because I've missed quite a bit of build up, I'm really looking forward to a great promo package, because we know how well WWE can do them, and I really do hope it's one of the matches that has a solid promo package, because I'm looking forward to seeing the story before that glass hits. You know what I mean? So.
I would say you were talking about being great on the mic. People that haven't seen it already, go back and check out the Rebellious Noise interview they done with Kevin Owens. Dan looking rather happy in that photo. But yeah, fantastic interview. Obviously, there's not much that was said about future stuff and all that. I was talking about on the road stories and stuff. Interview, not that I want to give spoilers, but yeah, you're right. Fantastic talker.
Quickly to jump in, they're interviewing this teenage girl dressed as Rhea Ripley, and she looks fantastic, man. This is why the women's stuff matters so much.
Exactly.
So
cool. But the gimmick is that she's a dominatrix. Like, I'm
not... all right. Now you're making it weird. All right, let's just enjoy the moment and move on.
I'm not sure. but
I think she's gonna do the stomp as well. What's she gonna do?
She looks fantastic.
But cool.
I think a lot of kids around are a bit confused as to what that actually is.
They ain't gonna know. There are these subtle undertones with Rhea Ripley. Everybody knows where it is, but maybe the teenagers don't. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but then you got Alexa Bliss thinking she's a 5-year-old, so
True.
True. Yeah, let's just move on. Anyway, what do you think about this Owens thing?
But yeah, in terms of this segment, it is. I think what it is, it might even go down to the wire of this, but I do think there's potential for this to become a match, even if it is like a brawly, brawl around the ring type, referee just vaguely in there, or hell, they even just get bloody JBL or. Well, he's not comment. I could say one of the commentators. One of the commentators put a ref shot on just for Stone Cold to stunner him and get a 1, 2, 3. Like it won't be. I don't think it would be a traditional bell to bell contest, because
it'd be like the Rock and Rowan kind of thing. I'd imagine.
But maybe with a bit more substance.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be a bit more too.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's what it was. A few weeks ago, Austin still was nervous to commit to calling it a match, and maybe he's had a few kind of practice things with Owens and gone, you know what? Let's call it a match. And they will only decide that on the night. And they didn't want to build it as a match in case. He's always talked about letting people down and never kind of living up.
But then Stone Cold, he's always been like one of the smartest business people, in the business, where he's understood that he would know this spot essentially. The pop is there for his end. Sorry, they just showed the Big E neck injury thing again. The pop is there for his entrance. Yeah. The pop is also there for him doing the stunner, and the pop is there for him doing the beer bash at the end. The check is also there for those three things, regardless.
Yeah, exactly that.
He knows the price for him to wrestle a bell-to-bell match that's advertised is probably one of the most expensive price tags in wrestling.
Sure, yeah.
I think.
It's got to be a way bigger
to get him to outside of the Rock. Outside of the Rock, I'm guessing, and just big name. I can't even think of another big name with come on that type of money, really.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Well, Brock, but
Brock, but he's obviously still a full-time performer, a part-time performer.
Yeah.
But in terms of I can't think of another person who can command that amount of money. I think he knows his worth, and I just think if he's getting paid a ridiculous amount of money just to come out, do his catchphrases, have a stunner, do a stunner, and celebrate and drink some beer, like he will just do that. So this is where this whole match thing is a bit like, just knowing the Stone Cold that we know, you know, the same guy who walked out of the company because he didn't want to lose the match, essentially. Yes, he had his reasons, and like it does make sense when you think about it. But essentially, he just went, I ain't doing that.
I'm not throwing money away to have a match against Brock on SmackDown. Right?
Yeah, he's always been like this, and he's always been like, well, yeah, he's not afraid, so I ain't doing it. And this could be that situation where they've offered him the match, and then he realised, well, you're going to pay me most of that money anyway, just come out and do the stunner. Like, let me just do that. You get the same result. Because I think at the end of the day, they want that end shot, I guess, so they can obviously show it in their highlight package for years to come, or obviously, you know, from WrestleMania 15, you know, when he beat The Rock, WrestleMania 17, when he beat The Rock. He had his, obviously, lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 19, and obviously didn't do much after that, but he was able to come back at WrestleMania 38, 20 years later, and have this amazing, like, oh, hell yeah moment, did a stunner, you know, and he closed the show. He's still main event Mania in a weird way. Without even having to, but this just is just part of who he is, isn't it? And the name that he is, I guess, the value that he has.
Was it 2003 his last match? Was it 2003? Yeah, it was 2003, right? So that is
19 years.
19 years now. Yeah.
19 years. Yeah.
Wow. Right. Yeah,
I mean, as you were saying, like from a business point of view, from Austin himself, if he can get paid a silly amount of money, as you said, to drink beer, drop a stunner, walk out to a pop, raise some hell, and then get a massive, fantastic finish and close a show like that, and he can get paid to do all that instead of put his life on the line, risk his health, knowing that he hasn't wrestled in 19 years. Hey, look, from a standpoint of a business, you know, and from a business brain, I would rather see Austin healthy, knowing that he can, because I wouldn't want to see a lackluster Austin match, because I would be disheartened by it. And, I mean, if I get the opportunity to see Austin, you know, drop a stunner and have a beer bath afterwards, that's what Austin does. So, you know, as I said, I don't like the idea of Mania ending on a segment, but I think the fact that it's Austin kind of overshadows the fact that it's ending on a segment.
Only he can get away with this.
Yeah, and it's Texas, and he never actually retired. He, you know, rode off in the sunset without people really realizing what was going on. I mean, he did retire, but you know, it weren't like a loser leaves. Like, it ain't a Shawn Michaels thing, but we're all disappointed. That
but that's the thing. He had the old school retirement of that was it. He did what he needed to do. He got out of the business when he needs to get out of it. And obviously, people, like I said, fans, we trolled ourselves for years thinking that he'd come back. You know, to do certain things for certain people, particularly around the summer of Punk. Obviously,
Hogan one and then the Punk one,
But he you know, he's just, you know, like I said, the tweet Batista said about a year ago, where he said, "Need to invent a word for people who are just retired." You know, because he's in that club now. He fit what for now? We don't know. He could come out and be Seth's opponent tonight. But you know, he's joined that. He's part of that club of like just guys who he stopped doing it. Like he's finished, and I believe Stone Cold's in that club. Like, you know, in terms of he's done appearances and stuff, but he has stayed true to his word. He's not wrestled a match, like, you know, a match that's had a bell and a referee for, you know, 19 years. And I don't see why that would end now. But then if it is a case of like, okay, you want you to do like a little brawl, and then you're gonna stunner him, and then you only get a pin, and you're gonna like your hand raised.
Yeah, it can't be too short either, can it? Yeah. I do think they'll be brawling. They'll be outside the ring. I think he'll probably hit the Lufez press. He'll stomp a mud hole. But I don't think there'll be much as far as headlocks and you know what I mean. Like,
thing is, there wasn't much of that in the original run. Like, again, I'm not hating on the guy. I'm a massive Stone Cold fan, but that gimmick got over. That gimmick, his matches were just, you know, outside.
Yeah, he always said like he held back, didn't he? Like he didn't have to do the drop kicks and
so all he did was the elbow drop off the second rope, the Luthez press, and the Stone Cold Stunner. That's literally all he did, and all those involved punching and kicks.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do like, you know, he wasn't that kind of wrestler. Like that. This is why it was so sad. We saw Bret Hart come back, obviously at 26.
Yeah.
At that point, the stroke plus obviously his lawyers and stuff like meant that he couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
and,
it wasn't a Bret
who saw Bret and knew that he was, you know, the best. You know, like how good he was back in his prime. Saw that. Well, yeah, like this guy can't do anything. But obviously, Stone Cold coming back, he would just. The same with Goldberg. Like, well, all we did was 2 moves before anyway. So if you're looking to do those 2 moves now, like on the most part, there's no problem with having those matches. Like we say, go back and watch all our other stuff. We've ranted about Goldberg and title matches and why it should be away from those. But like if Goldberg wants to come back and just do like a spear and a jackhammer on people who can obviously, post for the move, then like
exactly. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's not too bad. But yeah, Stone Cold. Like, what would you expect from a Stone Cold match in 2022? Which is the bigger question, I guess.
Exactly what we've just said: a beer bath, a stunner, stomp in some mud holes, maybe come out on a quad bike, raise some hell.
And you could get all that without having a match.
Exactly. And do you know what? I think, and by him doing that, I don't even think he's going to lose as much money if he had a match. Do you know what I mean? More people want to see him. Stun a KO. Exactly. More people want to see him KO, stun a KO than do anything else. I don't think we need to have a match in order to enjoy a Stone Cold Steve Austin segment, which why I believe closing the show isn't the best idea. But the fact it is Austin, as you said, we can get away with it. So,
and the thing is, though, Kevin Owens can't look like a chump, though. He can't get battered. He's going to have to, but you can still do that with a few chair shots to the ribs. You can still fake stomp a mud hole. So he could do that himself. I reckon he's the kind of character that would stomp a mud hole and laugh about it, but then it would get turned on him. He'd hint he's going to do the stunner, and Austin gets out of it and does his own stunner, and that's how we get to that. So there's still enough they can do. I hope they don't just bury Kevin Owens. But there's enough. It's the kind of match where it could just be like Austin could easily take being on the floor and being stomped a lot. So yeah, this is like you say, as far as an Austin match goes, he's in that in 2022. It would still be entertaining, whatever they do, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, man, that's it. That's the predictions. All of it, all locked in. I think it's about half hour now until WrestleMania officially starts. Yeah. All looking forward to it. Final question, just a quick one before we all go. What match are you looking forward to the most?
Tonight or
just for tonight?
Just for tonight. Okay.
It's got to be Seth's match.
Yeah.
For me.
Scott, have you got your gear ready or?
Yeah, it's my match. I mean, oh crap, I've just blown it. Yeah, I think maybe Seth's as well, because for the moment, and I think if it is who we think it is, they could pull off a fantastic match. Seth's always incredible. So I think it'll be a really good match in itself. But we've just been talking about Austin thing, and that's talked me up about it as well. So and as much as we downplayed maybe the Bianca feud because we've seen it already, every time we did see it, it was entertaining, it was good, they had a good match. So there's a possibility there about it being match of the night. Charlotte and Ronda, there's a possibility of that, being kind of up there as well. So, and we even mentioned as well the tag matches, a possible really good celebrity match, a possible really good Usos match. There's so much that we could see here that has the potential to steal the show. There's a lot here, but there's a lot of matches that you could also say, by the same token, that like AJ and Nakamura a few years ago, if you would have told me that was a match we all look back on going, oh, that's a bit of a shame. I wouldn't have believed you before it. So, just because it's an interesting card potential doesn't always mean it pays off. But hey, I'm in the mood, and that's all.
I think for now, now the problem you got is like all the Peacock delays of stuff, and obviously the adverts, and it's quite strenuous at times, isn't it? But I think I think if things go right, the whole show really for me depends on the Seth's opponent. Literally, it makes or breaks the entire show, because if depending on when that goes on, if it's obviously someone who, obviously, like we said, like if it's someone who the reception to is negative, it will take a match at least for people to get over. So essentially, if that match is poor, or the opponent choice is someone who is negative, the next match afterwards, whatever it is going to suffer, because the crowd will be disappointed, and that disappointment will take some time to kind of get over. And so it's difficult, isn't it? And the same thing with this Austin and Owens thing. Like, it's one of those where it's really exciting and really fun, but then it is a case of, okay, if it does become a burial of Kevin Owens, that's still fun. If it does go on for ages, like these things can do sometimes, Stone Cold wasn't really known for his brevity at times, much as we love him. But if it goes on forever, Do you know what I mean? Like, especially, you know, for us, like, we always say this on these streams because we have, you know, Americans that watch these. And
hey, I'm one of them today.
Yeah, you are. You're one of them now. But us as Brits, we're sat there sometimes watching stuff at the end. Well, we're just like, please just finish.
You're going to be watching the match behind the curtain anyway, mate. Look, I've told you, I know what you're doing.
I'll be tired either way.
Even if it's good stuff, isn't it? We all just sit there.
Yeah, we don't want another Edge and Orton. Is the way I see it. So I really hope it's not like that. So, but anyway, yeah, it's I'm excited. Like I say, we're about half hour out. It's going to be good. We'll be back here hopefully as much as we can over this weekend for more coverage. We're doing a build up hopefully at night 2. Recap and review podcast as well as we usually do on the channel. I might, if I can tonight, stay tuned, subscribe, keep an eye out. I might try and do an instant review after the show, seeing as I am on somewhat reasonable time as well. So if any of you don't fancy going to bed and want to join me, let me know.
I'll drop a message so we can twizzle.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll do this solo if I do. So yeah, keep an eye out because if I can make it on, we'll kind of take questions and things like that and see what people think of the show. But yeah, if not, either way, we'll have hopefully the build up and the recap and review podcast as always as well over the next few days. So a lot of content here on the channel. So please subscribe and drop comments and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's been a good show. A big thank you to Rob for holding down the fort tonight for so long. Obviously, yourself and Dan starting out earlier on. Lucas Lewis as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, and well, let's go enjoy WrestleMania, boys.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Woo!
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.